Hello everyone, thinking of you wherever you are, and welcome back to The Other Castle.
That was so romantic. This is The Other Castle. I'm Andrea.
And my name is Tom.
Here on The Other Castle, we do the plot, lore, and more behind all your favorite video games, from the production, the creation, the release, and the actual game itself.
Yes, we do, and if this is your first time listening to us, you can check us out at our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com. It's got all of our episodes, links to our Instagram, our Discord, our item shop, and our Patreon.
Yes, over on our Patreon, we do monthly episodes, both on and off season. You get early access during the season, and only $2 a month with a 7-day free trial.
That's not too bad for
Not too shabby at all.
for 8 quarters
Every month.
every month.
Well, anyway, so we are here to talk about Kingdom Hearts 2.
I'm confused
Why are you so confused?
because I know it's not the second game. We covered Chain of Memories on the Patreon, so it's technically the third game. And they're doing this Final Fantasy stuff where they're like, it's the second, but it's also the third, and it's like the sixth, but it's also the third. It's too much, man.
Well, it's from the same company, so you can understand why they would have that kind of situation going on.
Yeah, it's a full go figure, but let me have this.
Well, the production of Kingdom Hearts 2 began almost immediately after the release of Kingdom Hearts 1.
That happens so often with these good franchises where they're like, the first one ships and the team turns around and goes back to their desk.
Yeah, after the release of Kingdom Hearts 1, they did release a final mix version, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. It was after the completion of that they began the production of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay, gotcha.
And the goal was to take the things people loved about the first game and polish out those aspects.
That's a perfect way to approach a sequel. I get you.
Not only that, they wanted to improve upon the areas people had issues with, such as the camera, some controls, and the divisive gummy ship sections.
Oh, you love the gummy ship.
I love the gummy ship, and so does the creator and director Tetsuya Nomura. He wanted the new game to feel the same but different, refusing to reuse any assets or animations from the first game. Kingdom Hearts 2 was set to take place a year after the first one, and during development, the team came up with story ideas for what happened during that year in between.
I know all about it because I'm on the Patreon.
Yes, that's how Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was born. It was a Game Boy Advance exclusive title that, like Andrea said, we recently covered on our Patreon. It introduces characters and concepts that would go on to continue through the entire series. The reason they needed to fill in the gap was because the protagonist, Sora, was going to need to start from level 1 again, despite being a demigod by the end of the first adventure.
I totally get that. It's such a pain in the ass to be like, how do we reset the skill tree when you've already gotten like way the fuck OP on the last round?
Right, instead of just building on from that.
Yeah, definitely.
For the voice cast of the game, we had many return, and several get replaced. Haley Joel Osment, Hayden Panettiere, and David Gallagher returned for Sora, Kyra, and Riku.
Love that.
They are joined by series newcomers Jesse McCartney and Brittany Snow, both keeping with the tradition of hiring working child stars.
Oh, beautiful soul, Jesse McCartney.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for him. I thought he was a one-hit wonder. I didn't realize he was like working.
Well, it was like at the time, he was up and coming.
Okay, good for him.
They play a couple new characters that we're going to meet later. The Disney cast was once again largely played by their original voice actors, with the exception being the really big names like Danny DeVito, Matthew Broderick, and Robin Williams.
Fair enough.
They were all replaced by the actors who took over the characters for the television spin-off series of their respective films.
That makes a lot of sense. So those are people that have already played the characters and are canonical in this world and understand the nuances. Totally makes sense.
Yeah, and honestly, they spend more time with the characters than the big name actor does.
Doing the episodic series, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sadly, they also recast a few actors despite their characters returning. David Boreanaz did not return to play Leon, as he had just gotten cast in the TV series Bones and didn't have the time.
That ran for so fucking long. I totally get why he was like, I'm gonna work on that project.
Right. Mandy Moore was replaced by Mina Savari as Aerith.
I forgot she was in this.
I think we all did. Sean Astin apparently played Hercules in the first game.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I was researching this one.
Good for him.
He was replaced by the OC's Tate Donovan, who was the actual voice of Hercules anyway.
That almost feels more appropriate.
Right. There was also one more performer I had completely forgotten to mention in the first game, who sadly was replaced in this one.
Okay.
The voice of the legendary Final Fantasy VII villain, Sephiroth.
Oh, fun.
In the first game, he was inexplicably played by Lance Bass from NSYNC.
No. You're lying.
I am not lying at all.
That's fucking ridiculous. What I would give to see him dressed up as Sephiroth. Why? Why was he Sephiroth?
I have no idea. I think he was trying to get like some kind of acting thing going or kickstarting a voice career.
He's like, Justin Timberlake was in The Social Network. Let me do one too. And Sephiroth is equivalent? I don't know. No, that's so weird.
I think evil. I think Lance Bass.
No, he's America's I love him. Oh, good for him. That's fun.
Well, needless to say, they waved bye to his interpretation.
Shut up.
Replacing him with Sephiroth's now longtime performer George Newbern. After a relatively fast turnaround time, Kingdom Hearts 2 released exclusively to PlayStation 2 on December 22nd, 2005 in Japan, then in March of 2006 in the US, with Europe and Australia seeing it in September that same year. It released to critical and fan acclaim, selling 4 million copies in the first year. As per Kingdom Hearts tradition, a final mix was released, adding some quality of life updates, as well as new cutscenes to accommodate story ideas they developed after the game's release.
Minor retconning is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what it was. Over the years, it has been remastered into Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remix, bringing it up to modern-day console standards and includes all the content from Final Mix as well. Since its release, it has solidified itself as the best action RPG of its kind, and maintains a top 10 spot on many all-time greatest games ever made lists.
Would you say this is the best in the series?
Hands down, far and away, no questions asked.
Oh shit, okay, that's cool.
Which makes it even more insane that we didn't see its official sequel for 14 years.
Oof. I mean, yeah, though, first of all, licensing nightmare.
Right.
It's only gotten worse as we've moved farther and farther away from the earlier days of this franchise. It's an absolute licensing shit show. Second of all, they announced Kingdom Hearts 4 2 years ago and haven't said a goddamn thing since then. So I'm not surprised at a slow turnaround.
Right, seriously. I don't know why this series of all series takes so long. Yes, there have been a bunch of games in between.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you're like, well, actually, they put out a bunch of dumb shit in different places.
But it just made everything more complicated once Kingdom Hearts 3 actually came out, in my opinion. I don't want to say that's a fact, but a lot
I say it's a fact. Fuck it. I have no stake in this. That is goddamn fact.
Well, outside of shameless self-promotion, I do suggest having the first game fresh in your mind going into this episode. So if you haven't played the first one in a while, you can go listen to our episode on the OG Kingdom Hearts. It's Season 6, Episode 2 of our show.
That feels so long ago.
I know, right? Otherwise, it's time, once again, to get way too emotionally invested in a bunch of 14-year-olds, Goombas.
That's so creepy to say.
Because this is Kingdom Hearts 2. The game's opening credits are a stunning pre-rendered cutscene recapping the events of the first game, set to this one's theme song, Sanctuary, by Hikaru Utada, the same artist who performed Simple and Clean, which was the theme for the first Kingdom Hearts.
She has such a beautiful voice.
Incredible voice, and I love this song. Honestly, it arguably rivals the impact of Simple and Clean to me. The cutscene finishes out the events of Kingdom Hearts 1, showing the character Kairi age a few years, and then transitions into scenes from Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, as Kingdom Hearts 2 picks up after the conclusion of that game. Chain of Memories did sell well for a Game Boy Advance game, but selling well for a Game Boy Advance game was still under 1 million copies in the US.
That's so funny because Game Boy was such a juggernaut and moved so many units because it was so revolutionary. And then with the advanced generation, they were like, eh.
The flashback sections from that game highlight a blonde girl in a stark white room, drawing pictures of Sora and his friends running through Castle Oblivion, the setting of Chain of Memories. Fortunately, Chain of Memories is not essential playing, but it really helps to clarify everything. The cutscene also features a bunch of characters in long black cloaks battling against Sora, Donald, and Goofy. It culminates in Sora entering the white room, interrupting the blonde girl's coloring. On her doodle pad, we see an image of Sora floating inside a glass lotus blossom. Sora is standing in front of her, and then the glass blossom sprouts around him, encasing him inside. Sora goes to sleep, falling backwards into white nothingness. He flies over an ocean and lands on Destiny Island. Sora and Kairi are shown lying on the beach, holding hands. eyes closed as the sun is setting.
Oh.
The camera lowers further, revealing Sora is also holding Riku's hand, who is laying on his other side.
Oh.
The music swells, and a person crashes down onto the sleeping trio, falling deep into water just as Sora did at the outset of the first game.
Oh no.
But it's not Sora. It's a different boy. He has blonde hair, and he's wearing an all-white outfit with a red collar over a black shirt. He keeps sinking further, eventually righting himself. He lands on a stained glass surface, just as Sora had done at the start of his adventure. When Sora landed on his platform, it depicted Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, along with a few other Disney characters. This time, it's another side, another story, as the blonde-haired kid lands on a platform depicting Sora, Donald, Goofy, Kairi, and Riku. He looks up into the sky, and the scene transitions into a new location. It's a dark, dreary beach environment. But it's not an ocean, it's a lake.
Motherfucker. Why are you like this? You fucking hate when I say this to you. I'll say this to you just for funsies in the car, and you're like, I'm gonna kick you out right now, and you're gonna walk home.
I couldn't resist, I'm sorry.
You really could have, but you didn't.
Big black rocky structures rise out of the lake like so many abstract sculptures. A man in a long black leather hooded cloak with metal tassels and a long full front zipper sits on a rock, looking out at the gloomy shore. A dark portal appears nearby, and another cloaked person approaches the one sitting. The sitting man speaks vaguely, playing the pronoun game, saying he's been to see him. He looks just like you. Silently, but with subtitles, the new arrival asks the sitting man who he is. The sitting man says that his name is irrelevant. Then he turns the question around and asks if the new arrival remembers their true name. They think on it, then say, "My true name is..." But the scene ends before they say. Instead, we transition to the sound of Kairi saying, "Sora." She's waking Sora up from his nap on the beach. It's like we're watching the scene through a shitty CRT TV that is glitching, though.
Oh no.
Like a VHS tape that's been damaged as the screen freaks out from time to time. Because this is also just a cutscene straight out of the first game. As if the VHS tape had been recorded over, but the old shit is still there.
I appreciate that you're like, the team did not want to reuse assets. Except for this instance, where we put a filter over it.
Okay, in this instance, yes, they do.
But we made it a little... we copied homework and we changed it a little bit, you know?
But in the gameplay itself.
Got you.
It shows the majority of the time that Sora spent on Destiny Island in short, quick bursts. Suddenly, the scene ends, and you wake as the blonde-haired kid, lying in bed in his childhood home. You sit up, wearing a casual version of the white and black outfit from before. You rub your head saying that it was another dream about him. You have no idea who he is or why you keep dreaming about him. Your thought is interrupted by the sound of bells ringing in the hour from outside. You open your window to reveal a bustling little burg, complete with a whimsical as fuck clock tower, and a train station with a locomotive pulling in as the name Twilight Town appears on screen. We are taken to a new location. You're in your full outfit now, sitting in a little side alley kids clubhouse kind of place, complete with a dartboard, a dirty old couch, and wooden crates to sit on. With you are 3 others. Original characters to Kingdom Hearts. There's a taller blonde boy in camo pants and a vest over a black tank top named Hayner. A husky brunette boy wearing a headband and a red tank top that says Dog Street named Pence.
He's the edgy one.
And a young girl with brown hair wearing an orange tank top and khaki pants named Olette. They're all talking with each other animatedly while you appear to be having a crisis, looking at your hands in confusion.
I love that trope of a friend group where they're like, we have plans, we're children, and one's like, I am having a fucking meltdown.
The other 3 are talking about a guy named Cypher, which is a character from Final Fantasy VIII. Hayner gets your attention by calling your name Roxas. Shit is going missing in town, and Cypher has beef with your crew. So he's going around telling everyone you guys are the ones stealing stuff, which doesn't sit right with any of you because you're not the ones stealing.
That sucks.
Hayner says this is the greatest injustice in history. And Cypher is gonna pay.
Good.
You suggest finding the real thieves. That's really the only way to clear your names. Hayner says that's a great idea and suggests spreading out around town to see if you can figure out who it is. Just before leaving, Pence says, "Oh no, art are gone." Hannah replies, "All of art are gone?" And no, your speakers aren't glitching. There's a blank space where the item in question should be.
I was so confused for a sec. Like, did I break my brain?
No. All four of you try saying the word and can't. The thief didn't just steal they also stole the word for it too.
Oh no.
Hayner's all, well, at least that means Cypher didn't do it. No way he could pull off stealing the word as well.
Honestly, it's the perfect crime.
You can't even say what got stolen.
You can't accuse me of shit if you can't even verbalize it.
Right. The four of you agree to split up and see what you can find. You head out last, and just as you are about to leave, you faint, and the screen goes black.
After all of your friends have left the area, you're like, oh, goodbye, world.
Once you're alone,
Yeah.
a deep older man's voice comes over the darkness saying, his heart is returning. He'll be awake soon. You wake up laying on the ground from having passed out, then get up to go ask people some questions. You ask around town only to find out everyone fucking hates you.
Because they think you're the thief of whatever it is.
Whatever it is. So you gather with your crew and decide to go find Cypher to find out why he keeps telling everyone you're the ones who stole the items in question. You arrive in a part of town called the Sandlot. It's a big open square where kids go to play.
Is it kind of like an inside joke that it's called the Sandlot, referring to the Sandlot movie, or is it just called the Sandlot?
It's just called the Sandlot, and I really wish it was a reference.
That feels like a missed opportunity. Oh, like you're killing me, Smalls.
Cypher's friends are there. All of them Final Fantasy characters having appeared in 8 and 9. There's a girl named Fu, a no-nonsense mean girl with gray hair wearing a blue tank top. There's also a beefy beef kid named Rai, who looks like he might be Maori or something. And he finishes every sentence with, you know.
I hate when characters have catchphrases.
A simple one too, right?
Yeah, like you're not even being that funny.
There's also a little black mage named Vivi. Black mages are a character class in Final Fantasy. They've been around since the very first iteration, and Vivi, a character from 9, is designed to look exactly like the very first black mage. He has a black nothingness for a face with 2 yellow eyes floating in that blackness.
Oh, goodness.
Wearing a tattered old wizard's hat, looking like the Hogwarts sorting hat, complete with a zippered mouth.
That's cool.
And he also wears a long blue coat. He's very squat in nature and has a really high voice. Vivi is voiced by actress Melissa Disney.
Gee, I wonder how she got this role.
Well, her own Wikipedia page says she claims to be a distant relative of Walt.
Oh, the allegedly for it.
Yeah, even her Wikipedia page says it. As soon as the trio sees you, they start shouting, "Thieves!" Cypher comes from around a corner, also blonde and wearing a tank top. Actually, come to think of it, everyone but you and Vivi are wearing tank tops.
It's hot out here.
There are so many exposed shoulders down here at the Sandlot.
The Sistine Chapel could never.
Well, to Pence's credit, he's at least wearing a t-shirt under his Dog Street tank top.
Oh, that's so Y2K.
Cypher tells you to give back the now. You tell him you don't have them. Cypher tells you to get on your knees and beg him to believe you.
Whoa! Okay, so he needs to figure out his Dom energy, because this is ridiculous. Don't put it on random people. Get over yourself.
Right? Not in public.
No.
Well, you step forward and drop to your knees.
Don't do that! That's what he wants!
Hayner says pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah, man!
Lying on the ground in front of Cypher are 3 Nerf-like foam weapons. They're called struggle bats. Struggle is a game where 2 people beat the shit out of each other with these foam bats.
Like that episode of The Simpsons where they have foam bats?
Yep.
You know, if you take the foam off, it's just a bat. Much more effective.
Nobody comes to that realization here, fortunately.
Did they not watch The Simpsons?
No, not yet.
Come on.
These 3 weapons represent strength, defense, and magic. Just like in the first game's tutorial, you select one that you want to be your focus throughout the game. It doesn't make a huge difference which you pick, because with time, it matters less and less as you level up.
Gotcha.
This is your fighting tutorial, and it's at the very least incorporated into the actual story. Once you defeat Cypher with the struggle bat, Pence pulls out his old school Polaroid camera and snaps a shot of you. Suddenly, an all-white, 2-legged humanoid flying creature comes in from nowhere.
Ah.
It wraps itself around Pence once, like a snake, and then takes off down a side alley, stealing the camera in the process.
Oh my god.
The creature is almost like a Heartless, but it's basically the inverse, as Heartless are always all black, while this thing is all white.
He's heartful?
Not quite, no. It also moves erratically, like walking is an improvised dance of some sort.
Hmm.
The four of you leave Cypher and his crew to chase after the thing that stole the camera. The creature goes through a large crack in a wall. You follow it, coming out to a forested area. The white thing flies through the air, zigging and zagging, wrapping around trees like an erratic serpent. It comes to a stop just beyond a clearing in the forest. There's an old, overgrown mansion here. The front gate has a giant lock on it with chains, and the creature is standing right in front of it. It's very human-like in its shape, with the only exception being the head. There's a white, inverted Heartless symbol on its head, and it has a zipper for a mouth. It stands there, unable to stay still, constantly swaying like a hippie to music only it can hear. You attack it with your struggle bat, and find it to be completely ineffective.
You gotta take the foam off.
Suddenly, the bat turns into a keyblade.
Oh.
The classic Kingdom Key, the silver blade and the golden handle.
Classic one.
Now you can kick the shit out of the creature with ease.
Yeah.
Once it dies, the keyblade disappears as if it was removed from the matrix, fading into pixels. In the place where the white thing died, you find a bunch of photographs. You gather them and meet back up with your friends in your clubhouse, which you call the usual spot. Looking at the pictures, Alette points at one and says, "That's a really nice photo." Then everyone gasps, with Hayner exclaiming, "You just said photo,"
Oh.
which is the word that was stolen earlier.
They took all the photos.
That white thing had stolen a bunch of photos and even stole the word for it as well.
Huh.
This will never happen again throughout the entire course of the Kingdom Hearts saga.
Because fuck you, that's why.
This is a one-time ability, apparently. It might have something to do with our location, but it's never explained one way or the other.
That's really funny.
Looking at the photos, you realize they're all group pictures. The only person who appears in every single group is you, which is why everyone thought you were the one stealing them.
Roxas.
Pence thinks that the creature was actually trying to steal the real Roxas. Hayner asks why anyone would steal a bonehead like Roxas.
I like that Roxas's friends give them shit, you know?
Well, the whole group just laughs about it anyway. The four of you head off to clear your names when you have a bit of a head rush. A voice in your mind asks where they are. You ask who they are. To which they shoot back, "Who are you?" The screen becomes static, like a broken security monitor, and a lady robot voice says, "Restoration at 12%.
Ooh.
We're taken to a scene inside a high-tech computer lab. A man sits at a chair wearing a red cloak with red wrappings around his entire head, as if he were a crimson mummy with just his mouth and one eye exposed.
Or a blood.
But it's only his head wrapped. He's otherwise covered neck to toe in dark clothes with occasional geometric shapes in bright blue. He speaks in a deep voice that's very hard to not point out immediately, as they scored a mega star for this role.
Oh, really?
The sadly late, but extremely great, Sir Christopher Lee.
They had a knight?
A literal knight.
A knight of the Kingdom Hearts?
Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
And fun fact, he was the only cast member of The Lord of the Rings to actually meet J.R.R. Tolkien before his death.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The man in red is not alone in this room either. One of those people in a black cloak is in there with him. Neither man will be named for a long time, so for now, I'm going to call the man in red Sir Lee. And I'm going to Hideo Kojima, the guy in the cloak, and call him Cloakman for the time being.
We love a Hideo Kojima naming convention.
It's really easy, isn't it?
Yeah, we love that here.
Sir Lee is lamenting to Cloakman that the organization has found them. Cloakman asks why a nobody would steal photographs. Sir Lee says that the nobodies are morons. They see everything as data. So the pictures of Roxas were the exact same thing as the real Roxas to them.
Oh.
Sir Lee says that someone named Namine needs to hurry. It won't be long until the nobodies can foil their plans. The scene fades, and we see some cutscenes from the early parts of the first Kingdom Hearts. It's like they're being watched on an old CRT TV again. It's the portion of the game where Sora met Donald and Goofy in Traverse Town and teamed up with them there.
I wonder if there is an existing thing that brings FNAF to, like, this footage of all the old shitty Kingdom Hearts
Oh my
games,
god.
you know what I mean? Just watching them on all these different monitors, and then the animatronic Mickey comes out at you.
Yeah, right? That'd be terrifying.
It's right there.
Well, it culminates in the introduction of the Keyblade and Sora locking his first door. You wake up as Roxas in your bed at home, freaked out that you dreamed about that Sora kid once again. But at least now you have a name for that thing that appeared in your hand earlier. A Keyblade. You get dressed and head to the usual spot. Just outside, you find a stick on the ground. It's a cool fucking stick. So you pick it up and swing it about.
All kids are exactly the same.
Exactly, right? And you pretend it's a Keyblade. Then you toss it behind you, hitting a person wearing a black cloak who was hiding in the shadows.
Oh no!
You apologize, but they walk away without a word. In the usual spot, your friends are eating some sea salt ice cream pops, which someone hands to you as well. Pence asks, "Do you guys think we'll always be together like this?" Mirroring a line Kyrie said at the outset of the first game.
Oh.
Hayner's like, "You know we're gonna grow up, right?"
Time is linear and we're gonna move forward, right?
Yeah, it's very unlikely we're gonna be together forever, but as long as we think about each other from time to time, we'll always be friends.
Oh.
Hayner gets antsy, saying he's bored. He wants to go to the beach as summer vacation is almost over and the friend group hasn't gone once. You just need some money to take the train to the beach, and then you can enjoy the rest of your summer. You remind him that you're all broke. He reminds you that he's smart. He explains that there's a struggle tournament in 2 days. If the two of you enter, you'll have double the chances to win the prize money.
Oh, the struggle is real.
The prize money still won't be enough, though, as you'll want some spending money too. You want to buy pretzels and watermelon at the beach after all.
You're not just gonna go stand at the beach. You want beach snacks.
But watermelon is for closers. So you need to do some quick jobs around town to make some extra money, which is the name of the currency in Kingdom Hearts.
Money?
Yes, but they use it really awkwardly.
Really?
For example, if you ask how much something costs, the person will respond, 1,800 money.
I don't love that.
Nope. After the odd jobs such as putting up posters for the struggle tournament or delivering mail, you raise enough to go to the beach without even needing to win the tournament.
Nice.
Which means the prize money will just be yours to split and do as you please. While Alette and Pence head off to buy tickets, Hayner turns to you and says that you won't be together forever. So you need to make the most of it now while you still can.
Hayner's having a fucking crisis.
Right?
I know Roxas is kind of fading in and out of consciousness, but Hayner's going through some shit right now.
Fully. And honestly, you catch on to that and you're like, what? That is weirdly sentimental coming from you.
You gotta hold his hand and be like, buddy, do we need to have a heart-to-heart?
Then Hayner punches you hard in the stomach and runs off.
What? In the stomach?
In the stomach.
That's like one of the worst places to get punched. Like, all the air comes out of you, you double over. Just really struggling to come to terms with aging.
Right. Does not know how to process emotions yet.
Yeah, cannot communicate effectively, but okay, buddy.
You chase after him, but trip and eat shit, face planting on the ground.
Roxas is having a terrible day.
That cool fucking stick from earlier lands near you. You look up and see Cloakman standing over you. He grabs you by the arm and lifts you back to your feet. You look at him and ask what he wants, but he doesn't respond. Hayner calls to you saying, "Roxas, 3 minutes, let's go." You look around and Cloakman is nowhere to be seen. At the ticket counter, you search your pockets for the sack of 5,000 money you had, but you can't find it.
Oh no.
You say that the man in black must have stolen it. And the others are like, "What man in black?"
There's a rampant thievery problem going on in Twilight Town.
Fully. You're perplexed, wondering what's going on when the sound of the last train departing for the beach can be heard,
God damn it, Roxas!
signaling the end of your beach dreams for today.
You ended up accidentally spending your summer vacation working and not enjoying it.
And having nothing to show for it.
I kind of get why Hayner punched him in the stomach,
Right?
though, you know, like...
Preemptively, at least.
Yeah! It evens out.
Instead of hunting down the money thief, you all decide to go do something way cheaper, but also extraordinarily dangerous.
Oh, fun!
You grab some sea salt ice cream pops and climb to the top of the 100-foot clock tower, where you all sit on the ledge, dangling your legs out into the open air. You think hard back to the moment with Cloakman, and remember him asking you, "Can you feel Sora?" Whatever the fuck that means. As soon as you remember, the screen becomes static again. the lady robot voice says, "Restoration at 28%. Then you hear Sir Lee say, "Nominee, hurry." Back in the computer lab, Sir Lee and Cloakman are there. Sir Lee is sitting at a computer with 11 monitors and 6 keyboards, while Cloakman stands to the side holding your money bag. He asks Sir Lee why he couldn't just program a beach instead of robbing the poor kid. Sir Lee says it would just be another access point for the enemies, no sense in doing that. Cloakman asks what he's supposed to do with money, and Sir Lee laughs, saying that the two of them could always go out and buy some sea salt ice cream.
Ha ha ha. What shall we do with this stolen child's money?
Literally stealing candy from a kid.
Literally taking it out of their hands. What the fuck?
Then Sir Lee gets serious, saying that anything that comes out of Twilight Town must be kept out of the real world, instructing him to delete the money. After another flashback showing more of Sora's adventures, you see an image of a young blonde girl standing in front of a giant lotus pod. You ask who she is, but before she can answer, you wake up in your bed. If you played Chain of Memories or listened to our Patreon episode on it,
hey,
you know who the blonde girl is and why she's standing in front of that pod. So here's a quick TLDL on her situation. Her name is Nominee, the person Sir Lee keeps telling to hurry up. She's a witch who was being held captive in Castle Oblivion, the setting in Chain of Memories. She was forced to erase Sora's memories and replace them with false ones. One of the false memories she placed was a friendship between herself and Sora. To do this, Nominee erased all memories of Kairi and replaced Kairi with herself in Sora's mind.
I hate that.
After Sora defeated the people holding her captive, she offered to restore Sora's memories. To do so, he had to climb into that lotus pod thing, which is where he currently is, having his memory rebuilt. Which is just a crumb of context, as it helps to clarify some of the bizarre shit going on. But not all of it.
It is Kingdom Hearts after all.
You wake up in your bed once again. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Nominee standing in your room, but she vanishes when you do a double take.
Ghost.
You arrive at the usual spot, where you find a note from Hayner telling you to meet at the train station, and not to worry about money. It's beach day.
We're gonna get on this fucking train, whether you like it or not, buddy.
On your way to the station, you see Pence and Olette. They approach you, but freeze mid-step. Not of their own volition. It's as if time had stopped. But not for you. You rush over to them, but a person is standing in your way. It's Nominee. She greets you, saying that she wanted a chance to meet you at least once. You ask what she means by that, and she silently departs in response.
Oh no.
As soon as she's out of sight, Pence and Olette resume their stroll toward you. They want you to join them, but you take off after Nominee instead, wondering if she went toward that old abandoned mansion.
The Blair Witch House.
While traversing through the woods, you're attacked by a bunch of those nobody creatures. You don't have any weapons, so you tear ass out of there and head back into town. You run all the way to the sandlot, where Cypher and his gang are hanging out. They see you come around the corner and go, "Hey there, chicken wuss."
Chicken wood. I hate that.
I love that insult so much. Well, you stop because nobody calls you a chicken wuss.
Is he Marty McFly?
This allows the nobodies to catch up, and you grab a struggle bat to try and fight them off. Cypher and crew do their best to help, but the struggle bats are useless against the nobodies.
And most things. They're covered in fucking foam.
The nobodies surround them, and time freezes once again. But just for Cypher's group. You and the nobodies are still moving. From up above on a rooftop, Nominee shouts down to use the Keyblade. A nobody comes flying straight at you, so you put your hands up in defense. You are instantly transported to the stained glass platform depicting Sora and his friends from earlier. You go through a series of battle tutorials, including another chance to pick the focus between strength, defense, and magic, culminating in a giant nobody, towering at least 50 feet high, very similar to the Heartless version at the end of the tutorial in the first Kingdom Hearts.
That's too big.
This tutorial section teaches you how to use QTEs during battles. To their credit, the QTEs in Kingdom Hearts 2 are very solid and well animated, making them at least visually impressive for those who aren't fans of that mechanic. When you defeat the giant nobody, the platform becomes engulfed in dark energy. It starts to drag you down, but a hand reaches out and pulls you up. It pulls you out of the darkness and into an all-white room. Naminé is sitting there on a ledge against a wall. She introduces herself officially, smiling at you. She asks you if you know your true name. Cloakman appears and grabs her arm, telling her to stop. She knows not what she does.
And he's been asking her specifically to hurry up on this fucking process. It's definitely not introducing herself to Roxas, so
Right?
you have actionables, girl. Get back to work.
Well, she argues, saying you need to know. You yell at the man because he's the one who stole your shit earlier.
Yeah.
Cloakman walks over to you in silence, waving his arm as he does. A portal opens nearby. He lifts you up and yeets you through it without ever breaking his stride.
Oh, shit. Roxas is having a terrible week.
Oh my gosh, incredibly bad.
Accused of being a thief, getting robbed, and then getting yeeted into the nothingness.
Into the void.
Yeah. Also, his best friend punched him in the stomach. Like, this sucks for Roxas.
Well, you wake up, face down on the ground, with Cypher standing over you, having his friends take pictures of him posed as if you were knocked out by his hand.
That's fucked up. It's really just a breath away from South Park putting balls on people's faces and taking pictures while they're asleep, you know? Like, that sucks.
They brag about how they easily scared off those white things because outsiders are not welcome in Twilight Town, you know?
It's not Twilight Town, it's Sundown Town. I was fucked up to say, I'm sorry.
While you're talking with Cypher, your friends show up, looking for you. Hayner sees you acting all chummy with Cypher, and runs off angry that you blew off beach day to hang with your rivals.
He's had one mission this entire time, and it's to go to the goddamn beach with his goddamn friends.
You catch up with them at the usual spot. They're eating sea salt ice cream pops, and when you enter the room, nobody offers you one.
Well, you didn't come to goddamn beach day, so you don't get a treat.
You ask how the beach was, and Olette says they decided not to go because it wouldn't have been as much fun without you.
Oh, that sucks.
You say that you can always go tomorrow, which just pisses off Hayner even more, him saying that he already has plans. Then you remember that the struggle tournament is tomorrow.
Oh, dude.
And the two of you are signed up. Hayner storms off upset, and the screen turns to static as he leaves.
I'm surprised he didn't be like, let's fucking par for it and just beat the shit out of him.
The lady robot voice says, restoration at 48%. Then we are taken back to the computer lab with Sir Lee and Cloakman. Cloakman asks if Naminé was made of data, or if that was the real Naminé. Sir Lee angrily says it was the real one. She's hacked into his system and taken control.
And he specifically asked her to do a different job.
She has a completely other job entirely.
No one is doing what anyone wants them to do, you know? Like, fucking Roxas won't go to the goddamn beach. Naminé won't do her goddamn job. Everyone is just failing across the board.
Well, he's not concerned. As long as she accomplishes her goal, they don't need to worry about Roxas. Another round of flashbacks go by. This time with Kyrie at the center of the memories. You wake up in bed on the morning of the struggle tournament. Down at the sandlot, a square wooden grandstand has been built in the center to serve as the struggle battle arena. The announcer gives the details of the struggle battle. The winner will face off against the reigning champion, Setzer Gabbiani.
Do we know them?
Well, if you'll recall, Tetsuya Nomura was hired onto Final Fantasy VI as an assistant character designer, and a design of his was selected for one of the 14 playable characters in that game. Setzer is the character he created.
Let me guess. Gray hair, lots of belts. Am I wrong?
It's his kink, you know?
We all have those things, you know. You prefer shorts to jeans.
Right.
I love a nice black legging. I get it.
And he's only 27, Setzer is, so like, he's just all gray hair though.
It's fashion gray. I think we discussed this in the last one. Loves a fashion gray moment.
Well, he's the only character from the Pixel era of Final Fantasy to make it into a Kingdom Hearts game.
Oh, fun.
And the Pixel era is 6 and below. Also, Setzer is 27 and he's facing off against 14-year-olds.
That doesn't feel right.
At all, right?
No.
Nobody bats an eye about this.
They do bat his fucking head in, though, because that's a grown-ass man.
Everyone you expect are registered for the tournament. Hayner, Cypher, Setzer, yourself, and one surprise entrant. The stout little black mage, Vivi. He's not very agile or much of a fighter, but he absolutely demolished the competition in the prelims somehow.
Hell yeah.
The first place trophy contains 4 valuable crystal marbles.
This is literally for all the marbles. Fuck
For
off.
all the marbles. The grand prize for defeating Setzer is the championship belt, like you would see in pro wrestling.
I love that.
Unfortunately, your first match is against Hayner. You apologize for missing the beach trip, and he's like, oh my god, are you still on about that? That's some old shit. Don't worry about it.
Hayner's still gonna fully take out his energy on you right now. Like, I know that's some old shit, but I'm still mad. Flap, flap, flap.
You beat Hayner, moving you forward in the tournament, but lowering your group's chances of winning as you knocked out your partner.
That was bound to happen if you were against each other, in all fairness.
Vivi and Cypher get paired up next. And shockingly, tiny little Vivi beats the fuck out of him.
Is it a little satisfying to see Cypher get his ass kicked?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he's been the biggest prick out of, like, the mean kid group.
Totally. And Vivi laughs, having just defeated the leader of the gang he belongs to.
And he's, like, the little guy, so he's like, haha, fuck you.
You and Hayner are like, damn, that was crazy. You were scheduled to fight Vivi next. And Cypher comes to you saying, that's not Vivi.
Oh, no.
Thrash him. Vivi is the hardest battle yet, as he basically turns into Yoda doing backflips all around you. The crowd is cheering wildly during the match, and as you go to make the final blow, everything goes silent. The people stop moving and everyone freezes in time. All except you, of course.
Not again.
Vivi transforms into a nobody, and then more show up in support. Your struggle bat vanishes and is replaced by a keyblade. You fight the nobodies, and when they are defeated, you look around at the frozen crowd. A single set of clapping hands can be heard, and you turn to see Cloakman cheering you on from the sidelines. It's not the same person we've been seeing, as this Cloakman has a drastically different voice.
Oh.
It's much more upbeat and young. He cheers you on, saying, all right, Roxas, fight, fight, fight. You look at him perplexed. He's like, damn, you really don't remember me, do you? He removes his hood, revealing spiky red hair, aquamarine eyes, and a set of purple eyeshadow reverse teardrops on his high cheekbones.
Ah.
He says, it's me, Axel.
Got it memorized?
You look at him in complete bewilderment. That name and his face mean nothing to you.
Didn't have it memorized.
He says, blank with a capital B, this one. Too bad. Then he holds out his hands, and two flaming circular weapons appear.
Oh, no.
They're based on a real weapon out of India called a cockrum, and it dates all the way back to the 5th century.
Oh, shit.
They're a circle with a razor-sharp outer edge you can use to throw at enemies, or hold via a handle through the center and use it to punch with razor-bladed fists.
That's cool as fuck.
Axel's weapons opt for a spiked outer edge as opposed to razor blade, making them look more like saw blades when they begin to spin.
That's so cool.
You tell him to slow the fuck down. You don't even know him. Why does he want to fight you? Axel looks around and says, this place is his creation, so I don't have time to explain. You can either come willingly, or I can knock you out and carry you. But either way, you need to leave here with me right now.
Axel has issues with giving context to other characters. Like, I think Axel has a fundamental flaw in that he's lacking in communication skills.
Right. Now, you already know Axel because of Chain of Memories, right?
I had it memorized.
Right. That's one of those areas where this gets a little bit more context if you've played Chain of Memories. Otherwise, yeah, this is our full introduction to the character of Axel. The world around the two of you begins to warble as the images of the people in the crowd begin to sway and blur. You throw your keyblade down saying you're sick of this shit and demand answers.
I was here for marbles, and now I'm in the warble.
Suddenly, the keyblade reappears in your hand from nothingness. Axel looks at you and says, number 13, Roxas, the keyblade's chosen one. You're like, chosen one? All right then, let's do this, as you lift the keyblade ready to fight.
Hell yeah.
After you beat down Axel, a column of binary code appears nearby.
Oh.
And Sir Lee appears in its center.
Oh.
Teleporting onto the scene. Axel throws his cockrum at Sir Lee, but they're blocked by a force field surrounding him. Sir Lee tells you not to believe a word Axel says. Axel tells you not to let the man deceive you. They each start yelling your name, over and over again, blending into one another. You put your hands to your head, falling to your knees in agony. The sound of the two men shouting Roxas echoing. Finally, You stand and shout, Hayner, Pence, Olette. Axel and Sir Lee vanish. The crowd around you erupts into applause, having just watched you vanquish the shockingly challenging Vivi.
Hmm.
Vivi looks around confused, saying, how did I get here?
Baby's like, I'm the little guy.
Then hobbles away to find his friends. Your BFFs surround you as you are declared the winner of the struggle tournament.
Nice.
But if you want the grand prize, you still need to face off against the reigning champion,
27-year-old Setzer Gabbiani.
Yep. Just before the final fight, Setzer turns to you and says that if you could just go ahead and throw the match for him, that would be great.
Oh my god.
He promises to make it worth your while.
He really wants that belt.
Oh yeah, who doesn't want the belt though? You're like, fuck that, and you square off against this cocky asshole. He's pretty easy, but this is a fight you can win or lose and still continue forward with the story.
But you want to win.
Exactly, right? Regardless of the outcome, the four of you end up on the ledge of that clock tower once again, holding the trophy from winning the first part of the tournament.
Nice.
You break off the 4 crystal marbles from the statue, tossing one to each of your friends.
Oh.
Damn near killing Pence in the process as he had to reach way too far forward and almost fell off his perch.
Slightly malicious, but still, it's really sweet.
They thank you, saying that's one more treasure the 4 of you get to share. Olette says she brought something to share as well, pulling out a grip of sea salt ice cream pops. You stand up, excited for ice cream, and trip over your big, clumsy feet, falling off the clock tower,
Oh my god.
plummeting to the train station platform below.
This must be very traumatic for the friends.
As you fall, the screen fades to static. We're next looking at a garden path, where a brunette girl in a short plaid skirt and white shirt is walking down it. A voice from behind her says, Kairi, wait up. The voice comes from Selphie, a Final Fantasy VIII character who was also on Destiny Island with Sora, Kairi, and Riku, dressed in a matching school uniform. She asks if Kairi wants to go to the island, as Titus and Waka are busy playing sports. Kairi declines, asking Selphie if she remembers the other 2 boys that used to hang out with them on the island.
Oh.
Selphie only remembers Riku. Kairi says she remembers a second boy too, but can't remember his face or his name.
Oh.
Then the 2 girls look out over a few hundred yards worth of rooftops, and in the near distance can see Destiny Island a short boat ride away. She swore an oath to herself that she won't return to Destiny Island until she can remember everything about that boy.
Ironically, there are cave drawings of her and that boy.
I know! There's so much to remind her of Sora.
Yeah.
Something about that kid is important, but she just can't remember why. Then she hears an unfamiliar voice, Roxas' voice, say, Namine? She closes her eyes, and the screen turns to static. You are Roxas once again, falling through the air in slow motion. In your mind, you ask Namine, what's happening? She responds back saying that she's not Namine, her name is Kairi. You're like, oh, Kairi! I know that name. You're that girl he likes.
Oh.
You introduce yourself as Roxas, and she begs you to please tell her that boy's name. Then a third voice joins the group chat. Sora says, geez, Kairi, you already forgot my name?
Oh.
Thanks a lot. Then he says he'll give her a hint. It starts with an S. Through all this, you are still falling in slow motion toward the ground. As you come within inches, the scene switches back to Kairi, who is out cold on the dirt road. She stands up with Selphie's help and sprints toward the beach. She kneels down, putting a bottle in the water. Inside is a note. Selphie asks what she's doing. She explains that she wrote the letter the day before, to the boy she can't remember. She knows that she made a promise to him that no matter where he is, she'll find him someday. Selphie wishes the bottle luck, hoping he finds it. Kairi says she knows he will. Right, Sora?
Oh.
The screen goes to static once more, and the lady robot voice says, restoration at 79%.
We're making lots of progress.
Once again in the computer lab, Sir Lee and Cloakman are together, and Cloakman asks what just happened. Sir Lee says it's astonishing. Somehow, Namine, talking with Roxas, put him in contact with Kairi, which had an effect on Sora. Sir Lee says that Namine is not like other nobodies. She has the ability to weave herself into the minds of Sora and his friends. Cloakman asks who she's a nobody of. Sir Lee says that he won't say unless Cloakman tells him his true name first.
Hmm.
Cloakman removes his hood. Beneath it is a face we've seen before. A sharp face with long gray hair. He looks at Sir Lee, saying that his true name is Ansem, the big
Oh.
bad that exploded at the end of the first game.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Sir Lee laughs, hard, and sarcastically says, "It's an honor, Ansem." The scene shifts to a tall, circular white room. Around the edge of the room are 13 thrones, each of varying height from 10 feet to 30 feet tall.
Hmm.
The thrones are white, with ornate nobody symbols carved into their backs. Most are empty, but a few have people wearing black cloaks sitting in them. People we haven't met yet keep their hoods up, but once we meet them, their hoods remain down from that point forward.
We have to unlock them
Yeah, basically.
in the boardroom.
So far, we've only met Axel from this group. He's angry, arguing with the others.
He's kind of baseline angry, though.
All the time.
He's got a lot of edge to him.
He says it's not fair to get rid of Roxas that quickly. One of them questions Axel, saying that it's not like him to turn down the chance to eliminate another member of Organization XIII, having already disposed of a few traitors amongst them. For more information on that, refer to Chain of Memories.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Axel says this is different. Roxas didn't betray the organization. He's locked away and is unable to return. The person Axel is arguing with launches a spear at Axel's head, saying he will do as he's told or face the consequences.
What I would give to throw a spear at a meeting just once.
The spear buries itself into Axel's throne, slicing through some of his hair. Axel never flinches, but recognizes the threat for what it is. He'll be turned into a dusk if he doesn't do what he's told, and a dusk being that very basic form of nobody that moves like it's dancing.
Oof.
Axel confirms that if he can get Roxas to return, then there will be no need to dispatch him, to which the other agrees, doubting Axel's ability to actually bring him back.
You see, I get that, though. Axel's a little prickly. He's not a soft, charismatic person.
Right.
His heart may be in the right place, but his execution, rarely friendly.
His opening move is fight.
Yeah.
Finally, you return to Roxas, still falling through the air. As you careen into the ground, you wake up with a start, safe in your bedroom. You are relieved it was all just a dream, but are also confused, wondering which part was a dream and which part was reality. Back at the usual spot, Hayner is talking about summer vacation ending in the next 3 days, and he has zero desire to do the one homework assignment they were supposed to complete.
They're also not very concerned that Roxas fell out of a fucking tower.
Well, Olette is mad because the deal was that today would be the day they complete it. You interrupt their argument, asking if they remember you falling off the clock tower yesterday.
Thank you, yeah.
They look at you confused, saying that if you had fallen off, you'd be dead right now. You did slip, but you never fell.
Huh.
Hayner returns to the topic of homework and agrees to get it done today, just so he doesn't have to think about it anymore. When asking for a topic, you suggest studying all the strange shit going on with you. Pence says that the whole town is already going to help you figure that out tomorrow as a thank you for finding those photographs.
Oh!
They're going to search high and low for answers about those white things you keep talking about. You hadn't heard that, so you run off to buy a round of sea salt ice cream pops. While eating, the four of you decide to look into some local urban legends to see if you can discover their true origins. Then write about that for your assignment. They're called the 7 Wonders of Twilight Town, and the four of you head into downtown to hunt for these 7 mysteries.
There's a great sphinx and pyramids.
Not the wonders of the world, no.
Why isn't there a Twilight Town Stonehenge?
Some are innocuous, others have a dark presence causing them to occur, but your friends never see the mystical elements, always writing the wonder off as a natural occurrence of one type or another. One of the wonders is a mysterious ghost train that comes by from some unknown location. It never has any passengers. Nobody is driving it. It's just an empty car. The train eventually passes by, and it's a whimsical bluish purple with gold trim and star-shaped windows, the smokestack covered by a wizard's hat. You can't believe you're seeing it with your own eyes, and run to the station to see it up close. You run up to it saying, "Let's go inside." Hayner grabs you, saying to stop. You're gonna get hurt. You wonder what he's talking about and turn around to see that the train has vanished.
Oh.
You insist there was a train there, and that you also have one more wonder to find. But the others don't want to hear it, saying that so far all 6 wonders were bogus, and they'll be lucky to pull a report out of it. You ask about the 7th wonder, and they say it has to do with that abandoned mansion, but it's likely not real either. You decide to go to the mansion yourself, just to prove them wrong. Outside the gate, Pence shows up, saying that he told you the whole town was going to come out to search this place tomorrow anyway. Pence tells you that the rumor about the mansion is how, even though it's abandoned, there's supposedly a girl in the 2nd-story window always looking out.
This is like in Red Dead.
Right, exactly.
There's the ghost princess.
You look up at the window, where you see Namine standing there. She begins to speak to you inside your mind,
I hate that.
bringing you into the room with her. This white room is covered in sketches, from Kyrie eating a paupu fruit to depictions of Destiny Island. One of them shows a blonde boy in a black cloak, next to a red-headed boy in a black cloak. You ask if it's supposed to be you and Axel. Namine says, of course, you're best friends.
Oh.
Namine shows you another picture, asking if you know the 3 figures in it. You say, yeah, that's Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
Oh.
But you have no idea why you know that. Namine explains that a little over a year ago, some shit went down, and she was forced to fuck with Sora's memories. Right now, she's putting his chain of memories back together. Then he'll be his old self again. It's just taking a really long fucking time. The problem is, the whole memory restoration is affecting you as well. She shows you a picture of you in a black cloak, holding Sora's hand. She says that the 2 of you are connected. You are lost and confused, asking Nominated to please explain what she's talking about. She says that she's a witch. At least that's the word a man named Diz uses to describe her.
Diz, shut up.
But that's not really what's important here. You were never supposed to exist, Roxas. You get pissed at her, saying that's a terrible thing to tell a person, even if it is true.
Truly.
Suddenly, you're pulled away from being inside the room with Namine. Pence is shaking you as you stare off into space toward the mansion. He asks if you could see the girl in the window, and you point to it. Pence looks and says, damn, that's just a curtain moving from a draft. Another myth busted.
Oh no.
The 2 of you go back to the usual spot and report about the drafty curtain. Olette says that was her guess too, and had already written into the report. She tells you that Hayner is at the clock tower, and the 3 of you go to meet up with him to plan out the final 2 days of summer vacation together. The 3 of you joke around about the last 2 days while the scene transitions to a room inside the mansion. It's an old dining room, with the table having been smashed to pieces. Sir Lee is sitting in a chair as if the broken table were his desk. Ansem asks why he showed you the train. Sir Lee says he felt bad you missed the trip to the beach. He asks Ansem if his memories are starting to clear up. He confirms that they are. Sir Lee explains that everyone who had ties to Sora are having the same experience. They had all forgotten him, just as he had forgotten them. But now that his memories are almost restored, they too are starting to remember their time with him, and everything they did, which is why Ansem is having the same experience. Ansem asks why Sir Lee is doing all this. He responds, revenge. Now that Nomine's served her purpose and fixed Sora's mind, it's time to dispose of her. Roxas isn't the only one who was never supposed to exist. The screen goes to static with Robot Lady saying, restoration at 97%. This series of first game flashbacks shows the final moments of Ansem's defeat, including King Mickey Mouse coming to help seal the door to Kingdom Hearts, locking himself and Riku behind it, ending in Sora, Donald, and Goofy arriving at Castle Oblivion. The scene cuts back to the dark and dreary beach setting, the one by the lake. Repeating the line, I've been to see him. He looks a lot like you. This time we get to hear the voice of the respondent, and it's the voice of Roxas asking, who are you? The scene shifts to a neon cityscape. one we saw in the post-after credits segment of the first game,
Oh.
basically recreating the sequence of the blonde-haired kid, now revealed to be Roxas, dual-wielding keyblades and attacking a gang of large heartless creatures. The keyblades being named Oblivion and Oathkeeper, respectively.
Oh.
They're important keyblades to Sora, as he obtained Oblivion toward the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 and is representative of his relationship to Riku.
Hmm.
Oathkeeper being a result of the Paupu fruit keychain that Kairi had given to Sora once, making him promise to return it someday.
Mm.
Roxas encounters a blindfolded and black-cloaked Riku in the city square, and gives him Oblivion to help defeat the surrounding Heartless. After their defeat, the two fight against one another, Keyblade versus Keyblade.
It's PvPvE. Like, they're like, we're going to take care of this, and then we're going to take care of you.
Yeah. Ending in Riku's defeat, and him asking Roxas why he can wield a Keyblade.
Yeah.
Roxas answers by swinging Oathkeeper down on Riku, ending the scene and waking you up.
That's so badass, though.
Once again in control of Roxas, rising from your bed. You stand, and the image of Sora's clothing appears over your legs and feet, then vanish.
Oh.
You change clothes and go to the usual spot, where your friends are talking with one another. You go to put your hand on Hayner's shoulder, and your hand passes right through him.
Oh, no.
They run out of the room laughing, passing straight through your body as if you were a ghost.
Holy shit.
You find a photograph on a nearby table. At one point, it had shown all four of you, but now you are missing from the photo.
Marty McFly.
Leaving the usual spot, you get surrounded by nobodies. Axel appears and tells you that he has these icky orders to destroy you if you don't come back with him.
I love him calling it icky.
Right? You look at him and ask if it's true that the two of you are best friends. He says it's true, and he gets excited that it means you remember him now. But he wants to confirm that you really do remember, and didn't just find out new information.
He did just find out new information. Does not know this person.
He asks what the boss's name is. You stare at him blankly, and he sighs.
Bruce Springsteen.
Different boss.
Oh, got it.
Saying he thought it was too good to be true. The Keyblade appears in your hand, and you battle the nobodies, but not Axel. He just stands and watches you. After their defeat, he summons his weapons, but freezes mid-swing. The voice of Sir Lee surrounds you saying, "Roxas, to the mansion, now." You try to call for your friends, because that worked last time, but it does nothing, so you run off toward the mansion. As soon as you round the corner, Axel unfreezes and watches you run. Sad that the Roxas he once knew is truly gone.
Oh.
Arriving at the locked front gate of the mansion, you get a vision of Sora using his Keyblade. So you point yours at the lock, and it releases the chains opening the gate.
Nice.
You search the mansion until you find Namine's room. Empty, except for all the pictures on the walls. You scan them until you find one depicting you, dressed in a black cloak, running. You grab your head, remembering a long-lost memory. You're back in the Neon City, dressed as an organization member with your hood down. You are angry and walking with determination. You pass by Axel, who is leaning against the wall, not even acknowledging his presence. He asks if you're really going to leave. You ask him why the Keyblade chose you. You need answers. Axel gets angry, saying you can't turn your back on Organization XIII. The flashback ends, and you are still in Namine's room. This time she's there too. You ask her if Organization XIII is good or bad. She says she's not sure. They're a group of incomplete people trying to be whole again.
Aren't we all?
Some of them seem to have no problem doing bad things to achieve that goal. All of them having the same goal, though, to find Kingdom Hearts. You ask what that has to do with you, and mid-sentence, Namine freezes, then begins to disappear one pixel at a time, revealing that she was actually a digital copy of Namine.
Oof.
Sir Lee appears, saying that you have no right to the truth. Nobodies like you don't need answers. You're like, what the fuck is a nobody? Suddenly, Ansem appears and says, "Diz, there are too many nobodies. We need to leave now." Revealing Sir Lee's name to be Diz. So I'm going to call him that now that we have his name.
For sure.
A dark portal appears, and the real Namine comes out of it. She tells you that it's okay. Nobodies are simply half a person. Merging with your other half doesn't mean you disappear. It means you'll be complete. You're like, I'm gonna disappear?
Go back to the disappearing bit. I'm confused.
Diz grabs Namine and puts his hand over her mouth. But she fights him off, shouting to you. She says, no, you won't disappear. You need to trust her. She'll explain it all again the next time you see each other. You probably won't know it's her, and she probably won't know it's you. But you'll definitely talk about it then.
Sure. We'll make some loose plans for that instance.
She vanishes along with Diz and Ansem, leaving you confused as fuck about what just happened. In the library of the mansion, you find a secret entrance to an underground room. Where the mansion is all wooden and old-fashioned, this basement is metal and high-tech.
Ooh, cool.
Exactly like the computer lab Diz and Ansem were working out of earlier. Upon finding that computer, you begin to have more flashbacks to your time as a member of Organization XIII, including the time you fought against Riku.
Oh.
He asks how you're able to wield a keyblade, and you strike down on him with it. He parries, knocking you out. You're next shown slumped in the computer lab, with Diz and Ansem talking about putting you inside a computer simulation while Sora has his memories restored. Speaking of memories, Diz says he's going to give you a whole new personality when he uploads you into the simulation, so you won't remember any of this.
Oh.
Ansem pities you, and Diz says it's just a nobody. Who cares? He clicks a few buttons, and your body vanishes into a sea of pixels, uploading you into the Twilight Town simulation. The memory concludes, and you use the computer that Diz used to send you into this virtual hell. You summon your Keyblade and unleash your fury into it, destroying the 11 monitors and 6 keyboards. Axel appears, and he is not happy. Even though you remember him better now, he doesn't care, saying it's too late, and now he has to destroy you, as Axel always follows orders. He summons his weapons, so you summon Oblivion and Oathkeeper, one for each hand. After his defeat, you have another memory from that day in the Neon City. You tell Axel that if you left the organization, no one would miss you. Axel says that's not true. I would.
Uh-huh.
Back in the computer lab, Axel looks at you defeated and says, I'll see you in the next life. You tell him you're looking forward to it, realizing you really did just beat the shit out of someone who really fucking cared about you.
Oh.
Axel steps into a darkness portal and vanishes, leaving you alone in the lab. You search some more and find a hallway containing some large glass bulbs. Inside 2 of them, you see Donald Duck and Goofy, appearing to be fast asleep. Through the next room, you see a much larger pod, shaped like a lotus blossom. Standing in front of it is Diz. He welcomes the Keyblade Master. You ask if he means you or Sora. He says he's talking to half of Sora, the dark half.
Oh.
He needs someone who can move in the realm of light in order to destroy Organization XIII. You ask him why he's doing this, and he says that he's a servant of the world, which makes you a tool at best. You charge at him and slash with your Keyblade. It passes through him, and he apologizes, saying he's just a digital projection here in this simulation. You swing on the hologram until you have no strength left, panting for breath.
Oh.
Diz teleports to the other side of the room, and you yell out, I hate you so much. Diz says you should share that hate with Sora. He's way too nice to everybody. Diz vanishes, and the lotus pod opens, revealing Sora floating in the air inside it. You look up at him and say, Sora, you're lucky. Looks like my summer vacation is over.
Oh, that's so sad.
The scene fades to white as the words Kingdom Hearts 2 appear. The end.
No, they didn't.
Of the prologue.
Yeah, okay. It's like, there's no way we don't get to play with Donald and Goofy in this game.
This game hasn't even started yet, Goombas.
Oh.
Can you imagine waiting years for this sequel only to spend the first 4 to 6 hours playing as a character you've never even heard of before?
Can you imagine if they reversed the order of The Last of Us 2?
Right?
And then you just start with Abby, like the revolt.
As confusing as all this may have been, and as risky as it was, This prologue has gone down as one of the greatest openings to a video game ever.
Oh, that's great.
Because with context that will accumulate as the story progresses, the importance and impact of these opening hours becomes so apparent that going through it on repeat playthroughs changes everything you thought about it the first time around.
I love that.
So whatever you're feeling right now, I encourage you to go back and listen again after you complete this episode and see if it changes your mind, because the risk fully pays off. We come back to the game in Twilight Town's train station. The ghost train pulls into a spot, but this time there's someone inside.
Ghost passenger.
The door opens, and King Mickey comes out, wearing an Organization XIII black leather cloak. The screen goes black, and Roxas can be seen standing alone. He turns to the camera and says, "Sora." Then the voices of Donald and Goofy can be heard saying the same thing.
Oh.
They're standing outside the Lotus Pod, which is sealed shut, calling out for their friend. The pod opens, revealing Sora inside, waking from his long slumber. Donald and Goofy are laughing, as in the year and change since going into the pod, the classic Sora red overalls are extremely small now.
He outgrew them?
He did, because, he was 12, 13 years old.
Oh, so puberty hit while he was in his fucking chrysalis?
Yeah, lucky kid.
He didn't have to live through that year. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, because, Haley Joel Osment did too.
So they had to actually adjust for time. That's a clever way of making sure that the voice still matches where the character's at.
Yeah, he definitely aged up a bit. The three of you reunite, along with Jiminy Cricket hopping out from your pocket. You run over the things you can remember, saying the last thing you did was set out to find Riku and the king after saving the world. Goofy suggests checking Jiminy's journal, and he does. It's blank, with the exception of a single sentence. Thank Namine.
Oh.
You decide to stretch your legs and figure out where you are. You search the mansion, and as the player, you realize it's not the same one Roxas was in, as the computer you destroyed is fine.
Ooh.
Exiting the mansion, you find yourself in a strangely familiar place that you've also never been to before. On instinct, you head to the usual spot. Inside are Hainer, Pence, and Olette, hanging out. They introduce themselves, and you do the same. When they hear your names, they say that someone was just here looking for you. He was wearing a black hood so they couldn't see his face, but he had big, giant, round ears. They point you in the direction of the train station, and you head there to meet with King Mickey, as you knew it was him based on that description.
It really doesn't match anyone else in this world.
Right. Outside the station, a bunch of nobodies surround you, which you've never seen before. You attack them, but the onslaught is endless, and having been in a year-long coma, the three of you quickly tire out.
Yeah, your legs really shouldn't work.
Right. Your muscles have atrophied.
Fully. There's no one kind of rolling you around to prevent bed sores. Sora's not in a good place right now.
Well, he was floating at least. There's no bed sores.
There's no float sores?
No float sores, right. So yeah, you're back to level 1, having forgotten everything you learned in your previous outings thanks to your mind wipe. From high up on the clock tower, a cloaked figure appears, looking down on the fight. Just as a nobody is about to bear down on your group, the figure leaps from the tower doing a bunch of backflips and lands, striking down the advancing nobody with his golden keyblade.
Oh, that's so cool.
King Mickey bounces around, killing nobodies with ease. Square Enix wasn't allowed to use Mickey for more than 30 seconds in the first game, but since it was a success, they were given carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they wanted with him.
Hell yeah.
So they just went ahead and made him a total badass.
Is this the sequence that we saw at the end of the first game?
Essentially, yeah.
That's cool.
He tells you to be quiet and to board the ghost train. It knows where to go. Then he hands you a sack with 5,000 money in it and takes off.
This is an excellent interaction.
Right. Here's a train and some money.
Have fun.
Yeah. You all hope that really was King Mickey, figuring it must be, seeing as he had the king's keyblade.
It could have been Dumbo. We saw big ears, right?
That's true.
But they were rounded, not pointy.
Yeah. You figure wherever the king is sending you will likely have Riku there too. So you ask Donald and Goofy to come along with you to find him. And they're like, what else did you think we were going to do? The king told us to get on the train, so we're getting on the train. As you're about to board, Hainer, Pence, and Olette arrive, saying something came over them, and they felt a need to come see you off at the station, even though they just met you. You pull out your money sack to buy the tickets, and Olette freaks out, saying she has an identical one, pulling hers out of her pocket. The Twilight kids don't understand. They just feel like if they missed a chance to say goodbye to you, it felt like they were missing the chance to say goodbye to an old friend.
Oh, they feel the connection in the air.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Tears begin streaming down your face, and you don't know where they're coming from. But you say you understand what they mean, even though you really don't understand what's going on.
I've burst into tears in places. I kind of get that. I'm medicated now, so.
Feeling a little emotional.
Yeah.
You hop on the train and depart from Twilight Town, hoping you'll be back someday to visit these familiar new friends. Your train departs and enters a spatial void just outside of town.
I love when trains go there.
Right, taking you to Walt knows where.
Shut up.
Standing on a hilltop in Twilight Town, Axel, Namine, and Ansem are discussing their next move. Axel reminding them that they're all nobodies and don't really exist, so there's nowhere for them to go.
We don't really have a plan because we might not be real, guys.
Namine says that she does have somewhere she wants to go, if possible.
Is it the art store so she can get more doodle pads?
Yeah, she's all out of them. Ansem tells Axel to take Namine and run. Diz wants her dead anyway. They both helped him so much at Castle Oblivion. He owes them one. Axel opens a darkness portal, saying he doesn't need to be told twice. Namine thanks Ansem, and she steps through the portal with Axel right behind, leaving Ansem alone on the hilltop. The ghost train arrives at the base of a tall and crooked tower. Once you step off, the train vanishes, and you laugh nervously, saying, "There goes our ride."
No.
At the base of the tower is a character that did not appear in the first game, and it almost seems criminal that he didn't appear until now. It's one of Disney's most infamous of all villains, having faced off against many characters across different franchises, including Mickey Mouse himself.
Oh.
A vile, evil, mean character known simply as Pete.
Shut the fuck up. Now, I'm not a Disney adult. I'm not a Disney girl. I'm not a Disney person. Who the fuck is Pete? Wait, does Pete own the dragon?
No, that's the different Pete. So Pete is the big, round antithesis to Goofy, appearing as Goofy's asshole neighbor in Goof Troop in the Goofy movie.
Oh, I see him. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he originated in the very first Mickey Mouse short ever made, Steamboat Willie.
He goes back to Steam. He predates Donald Duck.
He predates everybody. He made his debut with Mickey Mouse.
Huh. All right, so they're day ones. Got it.
He's trying to break into the tower, saying, rumor has it, a powerful wizard lives here. If he can turn the wizard into a Heartless, then he'll have a wizard Heartless that he can control. For some reason, without ever turning to see you, he goes into his entire master plan.
Oh, he's a Bond villain.
He's going around world to world, turning people into Heartless, recruiting soldiers for his good friend Maleficent's army. Sorry, I forgot to mention, not only is Pete evil, he's also so fucking stupid, Sora says he can't even tie his own shoes at one point.
And not in a mobility sense. He's just a dumb dipshit who's evil for the sake of being evil.
Yeah. Pete finally turns around to see who is behind him and freaks out seeing Donald and Goofy, asking what they're doing here. Goofy explains that Pete used to live at Disney Castle, but he was banished for being an asshole.
Good.
Pete laughs, saying that Maleficent rescued him from banishment and then recruited him to be the leader of her Heartless army. You and the others laugh, hearing that he's working for Maleficent, knowing you killed that bitch a long time ago. Pete goes, "Oh, so you're the ones who did it." Then he calls upon his Heartless minions to attack you. After you defeat them, you get Pete to disclose more information, as he has no fucking ability to keep a secret. You ask about the wizard in the tower, and Pete says it's old Yen Sid, which is Disney spelled backwards.
Dun, dun, dun. Is it heavy-handed? Like, is it literally the logo just flipped and reversed?
No, it's 2 words at least.
Okay.
Donald flips out, saying, "Master Yen Sid lives here?" He runs inside excited, and Goofy explains that Yen Sid taught King Mickey everything he knows.
Of course he did.
Pete calls back after you follow Donald inside that he's probably already a Heartless anyway, but good luck.
He's like, you're metaphorically heartless, whatever.
Donald is pissed at the number of Heartless here. It's like closing the door to Kingdom Hearts didn't do a damn thing. You eventually make it to the top of the tower to Yen Sid's office. Yen Sid is revealed to be the sorcerer from the Sorcerer's Apprentice sequence in the classic animated film Fantasia. If you're unfamiliar with Fantasia, you're likely at least aware of the Sorcerer's Apprentice portion, as it's the one where Mickey puts a wizard hat on his head and turns a bunch of mops into living beings and floods a castle.
Yeah.
Donald and Goofy bow very low, showing great reverence for Master Yen Sid, while you, on the other hand, stand tall, saying, "Hey there!"
Hey, buddy.
Yen Sid asks if you've seen the king lately, and you say yes, but didn't get a chance to talk to him. He's like, "Great, So I get to give you your next mission. You go, mission? But I wanted to find my friend Riku and go the fuck home. He knows, but says that the only way you can ever return is to go on this mission, because if you don't, there won't be an island to go home to anyway.
And this is your responsibility as a small teen boy.
Well, you are the chosen wielder of the Keyblade, so you are the one who will open the door to the light. You ask about the door to Kingdom Hearts that you closed, asking why there are still Heartless running around. He says that you stopped an influx of Heartless from flooding the worlds, but as long as darkness exists in the hearts of people, then the Heartless will always find a way back. Goofy's like, cool, that just means we have to eliminate all darkness in every person's heart throughout the universe.
You're going to be the champion of light and the herald of darkness.
Oh no. Yensid then goes on to explain the Heartless, saying that if someone such as Donald were to succumb to the darkness, he too would become one. If someone who is strong of heart and will becomes a Heartless, meaning not everyone, then they will sometimes leave behind what is called a nobody. It's an empty husk that sort of lives and acts of its own accord, much like a Heartless, just the opposite. They don't really exist. They don't have real feelings or a heart, but they like to pretend they have hearts and feelings to trick others into trusting them. So don't be fooled by them.
I think that's just a narcissist.
Right. You will mostly encounter dusk-type nobodies on your adventure, as most hearts aren't that strong. But there are other nobodies out there that are near impossible to distinguish from a regular person. The strongest nobodies have formed a group called Organization XIII. They can control the dusks and other lesser nobodies.
Oh.
Even though you encountered them in Castle Oblivion, you don't remember much from that time, so you don't recall ever meeting someone from Organization XIII.
Sora got a factory reset, so it's reasonable that a few things slipped his mind.
Oh, his mind is fucked.
Yeah.
King Mickey is currently trying to figure out what the organization's ultimate goal is, by going world to world, fighting Heartless, and trying to find more information.
Yeah.
Yensid says it's time for you to depart, but before you go, your clothes are too tight.
You look crazy.
Yeah, you're going to need some more appropriate traveling gear. He sends you into the next room where you find a trio of fairies any fan of Sleeping Beauty will recognize.
Oh.
So, Andrea, you knew Aurora was Sleeping Beauty. Who are the fairies?
Green, blue, and pink.
That is Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather.
It's cultural.
Yes. They make you some new duds, telling you that these new clothes have some special abilities that will unlock while you're on your journey.
These women don't work well together traditionally.
No, they do not.
It took them an entire day to make a bad cake.
A total failure of a cake, right?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in them settling on a teenager's outfit well, you know?
Well, the three argue over the best look for you to wear, blasting you with their wands over and over again while you stand there taking it, changing colors. You tell them to get on with it, and they do one final swish together, leaving you in your far cooler black, gold, red, and gray outfit. These new clothes give you the access to drive abilities.
Ooh, you can drive now?
No, not a car.
Okay, because you usually have to be 16.
While in battle, you can eliminate one of your companions, which changes based on the ability you want to use. In doing so, your fit changes colors, and you gain a bunch of new abilities for a short period of time, making you far stronger and more capable. Abilities include dual-wielding keyblades, floating through the air, or having immense magical powers.
That's sick.
But be careful. Overuse can turn you into a feral-ass, heartless version of Sora. It'll fuck up bad guys, but you have very little control over what you can do in that form.
Oh, bummer.
As you are getting fitted, a raven is watching you from a windowsill high up in the room. It takes in the scene and flies off.
Uh-oh.
Now that you're dressed, Yensid calls you back into his office. Floating outside his window is your trusty gummy ship. Yensid explains that the gummy ship will need to find new paths to the different worlds you'll be visiting, saying that Heartless and nobodies alike are trying to do the same. So you'll be fighting them while flying between worlds.
That's cool.
Honestly, I said I love the gummy ship stuff in the first game, and it's only better in the second. Still divisive to many, as it feels so out of place with the rest of the game, but it's honestly such a nice break from the relatively repetitive nature of the game itself. And for me personally, it's a highlight of the franchise.
You love that, though. Like, the thing you love the most about Dave the Diver is that there's different kind of ways you can play the game. So I think you just like variety in a title.
I think I really do. I said the same thing about Stray and how each hour is different from the last.
Yeah.
The three of you jump in the gummy ship and take off. But inside the tower, the raven returns to the three fairies. It's carrying a giant black cape in its claws. The fairies panic, saying it looks familiar. Then one says, "Is that Malif?" But another stops her, saying, "That bitch is like Freddy Krueger. If we remember her name, she comes back to life."
Also, what would you give for Freddy Krueger to enter this franchise?
Oh my god, right? Of all the horrors.
Kingdom Hearts Nightmare Edition.
Oh, that'd be great. The third says it's too late. We already remembered Maleficent's name. At that, the cape begins to stand. The fairies run off to tell Yen Sid as Maleficent forms, reborn, laughing that incredibly evil laugh in the tower by herself.
Oh, she's so good. This also solidifies the Coco lore and mythology that once you are forgotten, you don't exist.
Yeah.
And they remembered her into existence.
Yeah,
so
that can happen.
Coco confirmed.
Back on the gummy ship, the only path you see open is to a place you've been to before. Hollow Bastion. It was one of the final worlds where most of the Final Fantasy characters and Kairi were originally from. Since you saved the universe, it has become a nice little town with shops and a big sprawling canyon that surrounds it. In the distance is a castle, where Pete is seen sneaking around looking for Maleficent,
Fucking Pete.
trying to confirm if what you said about her death is true. In town, the three of you explore a bit, not recognizing the new layout. You decide to go visit Leon and the others to see how things are going, seeing as you find a few Heartless almost immediately. You wander around and fight some nobodies, eventually running into your old friend, Yuffie. She says that Leon and the others are at Merlin's house working on some new projects. You enter a house where you find a few Final Fantasy characters working together. There's Aerith, Leon, and the Cid from 7, with Cid being a character name used in every single Final Fantasy game except the first, which is why I need to specify in his case. They welcome you back saying it's crazy. Up until a couple days ago, nobody remembered you at all.
Oh.
Then all of a sudden their memories all came flooding back at the same time. Sid's like, "Were you guys in cold storage or something?" You guys all just blush sheepishly because, like, yeah, kinda.
Yeah, we're in a chrysalis of memories.
You ask if they've seen Riku and the King, and they say no. They need your help in the meantime. They're the members of the Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee, and there's an obvious Heartless and nobody problem going on around here. Merlin shows up and gives you your honorary membership card since you'll be helping them out.
Is it a legitimate card?
It's an actual card, yeah.
I love that they have merch.
He's also disappointed you forgot how to do magic, but promises to help you relearn everything.
Nominate, come on, you gotta get the fun shit too.
Yeah. Leon asks you to join him on a balcony. From there, you can see Maleficent's castle in the distance. It has a moat surrounding it. But the moat isn't full of water or even lava. It's a sea of mostly black with little yellow dots speckled throughout. A moat of millions of Heartless, moving as if a body of water.
Ah.
Leon says it's hard to restore Hollow Bastion when he's competing with that. But now that you're here, he's sure it won't be too hard. You explain that Pete is the one who recruited all those Heartless, and he's an idiot.
Yeah.
The real danger is a group called Organization XIII, as they're the ones who control the nobodies. And they're not only smart, but cunning too. As if summoned, a couple nobodies appear. You draw your Keyblade as a group of them surround you, Leon fighting by your side for the first time ever. After the fight, you hear voices laughing at you, saying how bad you are with the Keyblade, saying someone with more capable hands would do a much better job.
Everyone's got something to fucking say.
Yeah. Everyone's got a fucking opinion.
That person, whoever said that, they're a Redditor or some shit, you know?
Neckbeard. You call the disembodied voices cowards, telling them to show themselves.
Hell yeah.
High up on the top of a large stone wall, 6 portals appear, and organization members of all shapes and sizes appear with their black hoods over their heads. You're like, good. Now that you're all here, we can kill you. They laugh and vanish, leaving one behind. He's got a bit of a Beach Boys surfer accent as he taunts you. You tell him to shut up and fight, but he laughs, saying, wow, he used to give me the exact same look. You tell him that saying really random stuff isn't going to psych you out. Now let's go. He says, okay, then disappears into a portal. Suddenly, your Restoration Committee member card begins to glow bright.
Oh.
It floats into the sky and becomes a giant keyhole. You use your Keyblade to unlock it. This allows you to now access other worlds via the gummy ship.
Oh, cool.
The first game had you locking the doors. This game has you opening them. Lots of opposites, as nobodies are also the opposite of the Heartless. In the organization's throne room, The members reconvene to discuss their encounter with you, saying they're astonished at how young the Keyblade Master is. The one in the tallest of the thrones takes over the conversation, saying that if the Keyblade Master has embarked on a new journey, then it's the organization's job to make sure it's one he will remember. We're now entering the wonderful worlds of Disney portion of the gameplay.
It's really a shame they didn't use the Epcot ball.
Yeah, right? Oh, that would be so good.
It's already a round portal, come on!
Each world being a different Disney property, once again, they mostly follow the major plot points of their respective movie, with some minor changes made to accommodate Sora and the Heartless. But there's not a lot of overarching plot relevance to these worlds, so I'll be skipping over most of what happens on them, as they're basically side quests to get you back onto the main storyline.
Yeah, and the grind. I get you.
Yeah, it's a lot of grinding. For example, the first accessible world is Mulan's, which is wild because that story takes place in, real China.
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to defeat the Huns.
Yeah, exactly.
They did a whole song and dance about it.
It picks up after she's already started posing as a man in order to enlist in the army, and then basically follows the movie's plot from there. Her dragon companion Mushu knows you as he was a summon in the first game, so you've worked together before and he vouches for you with Mulan. There is a funny moment too where Goofy just flat out goes, "So you're a girl pretending to be a boy, right?"
Sees through her shit immediately.
And you and Donald both go, "What? You're a girl?"
Stop.
I think that's trans inclusive? I don't know.
They say that?
No. Also, Ming-Na Wen did reprise her role as Mulan, but Eddie Murphy did not, as playing Donkey paid way more than playing Mushu. But like I said, it's mostly the same story outside silly moments like that, and I don't need to recap it for everyone as all those movies are available on Disney Plus, then you can watch them anytime.
Stop plugging Disney. They don't need more money.
I just don't want them to sue us, so I want to plug them as much as I can.
Okay, yes, thank you, Disney.
After wrapping up with Mulan, you check out Beast's castle where he and Belle are having some issues.
Marital issues.
Beast is being a dick, having locked up all his employees.
Why? What?
Yeah, and Belle doesn't want to deal with his attitude.
Are his employees in their human form, or are they still teapots and shit?
They're all still in their teapot era.
Okay, got you.
An organization member named Zaldin is also filling Beast's head with lies about Belle trying to steal or destroy the rose.
Oh.
All in an effort to turn Beast into a Heartless and thereby a nobody they can control. Once you tell Beast what Zaldin has been doing to him, he quickly overcomes the brainwashing and joins you for the rest of the pretty standard finale.
Cool.
Resulting in a Heartless boss battle and you opening another lock to the next world. You tell them to let you know if they hear from the organization, Riku, or King Mickey, and head back to Hollow Bastion as Merlin has something he wants to show you. For some reason, they decided to bring back the 100-Acre Woods for some more adventures with Winnie the Pooh.
You hated this level last time.
I hated it last time. I hate it this time.
Do you not like Winnie the Pooh?
I don't have any issues with Winnie the Pooh in general. This game makes me have issues with Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, fair enough. It's just this iteration.
Yeah. Merlin found his storybook and was trying to preserve it. Then some Heartless attack your group, ripping pages out and running off with them. It's slow, it's boring, and it takes the whole game to complete as you need to find torn pages of Pooh's books scattered across the different worlds that then unlock more terrible minigames in his world.
The Pooh stuff is everywhere and you gotta fix it.
Yeah, fuck Winnie the Pooh and Tigger too. I say all that only to follow up with, it's still somehow only the second worst world in Kingdom Hearts 2.
With as much disdain as you have in your heart. You're like, it still beats this other shit.
The worst being Atlantica from The Little Mermaid for reasons we're going to go into later.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately, neither world is necessary to beating the game, and you can completely skip them with zero consequence.
Nice.
However, one place you can't skip is the Olympus Coliseum from Hercules. For some reason, Hercules seems to be the only Disney franchise immune to the Kingdom Hearts formula of repeating the same story from every movie.
Oh, okay.
It always gets its own original story using the characters from the Hercules franchise.
That's pretty cool.
In this iteration, you don't land at the Coliseum. You land inside an underground cave. Or I guess a better term would be underworld cave.
Oh, we're gonna see Hades, aren't we?
You meet Meg, and she tells you Hercules has been working overtime in the Coliseum as Hades is sending an onslaught of challengers. So you decide to travel through the underworld to tell him to knock it off. Pete is here too, working with Hades to try and defeat Hercules, so he turns into a Heartless and Pete can recruit him. But Hercules keeps winning, and soon the underworld is going to be standing room only. So Pete suggests sending in someone who is already dead. Hades is like, damn, that's actually a really good idea. The problem with that idea for the gamer, though, is that it's a gigantic, massive, monumental spoiler for the game Final Fantasy X.
Oh, bummer.
So I apologize to anyone who hasn't played it but was planning to.
You've had your time.
Yeah. Hades summons an older man with salt and pepper hair and a big scar across his right eye, likely in his early 50s, who has one arm in a sling and his other holding a 10-foot sword over his shoulder.
That's so fucking cool.
Canonically, he's 35, but he looks far older.
Oof.
He's also one of the most badass motherfuckers to ever come out of a Final Fantasy game.
Ooh.
The unsent one himself, Auron. Andrea, I know that means nothing to you, but I promise to those who know, this is a big deal.
I'll act surprised.
Okay.
Ooh.
Thank you. Hades says he has a job for Auron, and Auron says that this is his story, and Hades isn't a part of it. Hades tells him to watch his tone. He's the lord of the underworld, after all. To which Auron responds, no wonder no one wants to die.
I like that he's a prick.
Immediately, Auron tries to kill Hades,
That's what's up.
and you enter the room as they're fighting one another.
And they're like, come on, Zagreus is going to do this in the next game. Calm down.
Yeah. Auron fights at your side, but Hades is in his kingdom, and he has the ability to prevent any damage to himself while you're in his kingdom. So you all escape the underworld, kiting Hades along, hoping he'll follow you and have a fighting chance. But Hades shuts the door to the underworld, trapping you inside, sending in his most faithful and loyal servant, the three-headed good boy,
Oh, motherfuck you.
Cerberus. Well, Auron's like, yo, I really want to fight Cerberus.
Fuck you. Okay. Whew, settle. I'm good.
While they fight, you use the Keyblade to unlock the door to the underworld, then head back to help Auron. After beating him down, you run through the door, shutting it behind you, and stick your tongue out at Cerberus as it closes in his faces.
Good. Tease the dog.
Hades had seen all this go down from his throne room and asks Pete if that Keyblade can really unlock any lock. Pete confirms, which gives Hades an idea.
He's gonna go break into a bunch of mailboxes.
No, the underworld has its own Colosseum, but Zeus locked it up centuries ago. Maybe if they trick Sora into unlocking it, they can have tournaments of their own down here in the underworld where they can rig the games however they want. Now, if you remember back to our episode on the game Hades, Meg, or Megira, was a character in that game as well. That's because Meg is a chthonic god, meaning she belongs to the underworld.
Oh, I love that word, chthonic.
In the Disney version of the character, she escaped the underworld to be an ally to Hercules. But she's still partially beholden to the underworld. And Hades decides to try and use her as a lure to get you to open the underworld Colosseum.
And that's the gospel truth.
You head back to Hercules while he's between matches, and he tells you there's a magic stone that the gods of Mount Olympus use to negate Hades' protection spell. He offers it to you, warning that Hades is still really powerful, even with the stone. But when he goes to fetch it, the Olympus stone is missing. A guard saying they saw someone in a black hood running off. Hades appears telling you that he kidnapped Meg and took her to the underworld. But he also submitted the dreaded Hydra to go up against Hercules in the Colosseum.
Ooh.
So he can either go rescue Meg, or protect the Colosseum and its spectators from total destruction by staying and fighting the Hydra. Hercules asks if you would go after Meg while he stays back and fights the Hydra, to which you agree.
Go get my girlfriend.
In the underworld, you find the person in the black hood. They pull it back, revealing a young guy with a Gen Z mullet. He looks at you, calling you Roxas. When you question him on why he keeps calling you Roxas, he pulls out a card and starts reading. If the subject does not respond, use aggressive force.
Uh-oh.
He sighs because he hates violence and isn't much of a fighter. After you defeat him, he dips out through a portal saying, "Come back to us, Roxas, we miss you."
Oh.
You're like, what was that guy's deal? But at least he left behind the Olympus stone, so now you can fight in the underworld more effectively. You find where Meg is being held and disable the lock keeping her captive. Hades shows up saying, "That was easy," and thanks you, leaving you to fight Pete and some Heartless. After some fighting, everyone escapes. Hades appears alone, saying you should probably check on that Hydra Hercules left playing dead back up top.
Uh-oh.
You get there, and the Olympic Colosseum is completely destroyed.
Oh, shit.
Reduced to rubble.
Woof.
Hercules collapses in defeat. You kill the Hydra for real this time, along with the help of all your Grecian friends. Hercules thanks you for the help, and agrees to let you know if Hades does anything else stupid, or if the organization or King Mickey show up. You unlock the next path and board the gummy ship. Meanwhile, in Disney Castle, Queen Minnie is in the Royal Library reading when Chip and Dale come running in saying there's a problem in the Hall of the Cornerstone and she has to come quick. She enters the hall and sees dark black thorny briars everywhere.
Oh, shit.
She sends Donald and Goofy a distress signal asking for them to come help. Disney Castle was supposed to be a playable world in the first game, as data miners have found the map in the game's code,
Oh, cool.
but for whatever reason it was scrapped. This is a really cool original Disney zone as it's not attached to any specific film or series. It's just a general Disney area featuring the House of Mouse characters.
That's great.
You enter a topiary garden and it's just littered with Heartless. Donald and Goofy are shook because this place is supposed to be sacred and safe. You fight your way to the Queen's quarters where she has hidden herself away safely. Donald and Goofy introduce you to Minnie Mouse, and she says she's heard all about you in the King's letters. The Heartless showed up so suddenly, she didn't have time to warn the rest of the inhabitants of Disney Castle. She tells Donald and Goofy to go make sure everyone is safe, while she takes you to the Hall of the Cornerstone. The hall is underneath the throne room in a hidden basement. It contains the Cornerstone of Light, an object that Disney Castle was built over in order to keep safe. But something has happened, and darkness is overtaking the hall, dimming the light of the Cornerstone. Donald and Goofy join you in the hall as you inspect the vines overtaking the room. The Queen says it has to be the work of someone truly evil. A green flame appears and Maleficent manifests inside the room with you.
You rang. Good for her. She's like, I know my branding. I know when I'm wanted.
She's just sitting in the corner just waiting for somebody to say her name.
Yeah, she's like, they're coming up on it. They're going to figure out it's someone fucked up and it's me. Come on.
Yeah, this is close enough. I'm going.
I love her.
She greets Queen Minnie, saying she's been castle shopping and thought this one would be perfect.
That's such a cunty opening, too. Oh, God, she's cool.
It's just a little too bright for her taste. So she's going to make this room as dark as possible. Hope she doesn't mind. Donald tries to attack Maleficent, but she's just a projection and isn't really here. She vanishes laughing, saying she can't wait to move in. Minnie asks you to go back to Hollow Bastion to see if Merlin knows anything about the dark thorns Maleficent has summoned. See if he knows how to expel them. Which you do very quickly, returning to Queen Minnie almost instantly with Merlin in tow.
I want Prince Philip to show up. You know, like, he's dealt with this before.
Yeah, right?
You'd think he'd be the primary, like, source of truth on this. Like, if Aurora's taking a nap or whatever, grab her mans, because he's fixed this.
He's not doing shit anyway.
Yeah, what else is he doing? He's a fucking prince. And his dad's alive, canonically. The kings are still around. Like,
Right.
he's not... he's like the Prince Harry of it. Like, he doesn't have to step in yet, you know?
Well, Merlin says the power is coming from the distant past, and he doesn't understand it. So he opens a doorway to the distant past. You step through into the River of Time.
Oh.
It's all black and white, has film grain over it, and the sound is muffled like the very first Disney cartoons.
Oh.
Even your character animations here are different, as you are drawn in the same rubber hose style animation as those early cartoons,
That's cool.
with Donald and Goofy each receiving their original designs from each of their first appearances.
Oh.
Pete is here as well, but in two versions, as you have the Pete from Steamboat Willie running around, as well as Pete from Kingdom Hearts, trying to set up those dark thorns here in the past so that Maleficent can take over Disney Castle in the future.
That's too many Petes.
It is way too many Petes. You can also run into the silent era Mickey Mouse here as he cheers you on through the level.
Oh.
But he never speaks and just shakes your hand from time to time.
That's cool.
In this world, you have to fight through a few classic Silly Symphony shorts, with you ultimately saving the Cornerstone of Light and Disney Castle along with it. From there, you head out to visit the rest of the Disney worlds available to you in the World of Color. One of the most unique worlds to join the Kingdom Hearts universe is Port Royal from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, I was like, the fuck is Port Royal?
It's a live-action film.
Yeah.
They made everyone look as lifelike as possible,
Oh.
except Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
I was just thinking, like, please tell me it's a real duck. And they, like, put a little hat on him, and he's real cranky, and he's like, I'm a sailor.
No, they're three brightly animated cartoon characters in completely different light and shading than everyone else.
Is it jarring as fuck?
This part's a little jarring. They fix it in Kingdom Hearts 3 very well, but this one, it's still just like cartoon characters in a real world.
And then there's just, like, Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom, and you're like, well, clearly you don't belong here.
I mean, obviously they didn't get Johnny Depp, Jeffrey Rush, Orlando Bloom, or Keira Knightley to reprise their roles, but the replacements are all very adequate. We'll call them adequate.
They got fucking Sir Christopher Lee. Like, that's kind of weird they couldn't get Orlando Bloom to leave him a voicemail of lines, you know?
At least Jeffrey Rush.
What else is he doing?
It also offers some cool changes to combat, as when you're battling the cursed pirates, you can only damage them when they step into the moonlight and become skeletons.
That's cool.
Pete's here too, trying to get a bunch of pirate Heartless on his team.
I feel like he would love a pirate Heartless.
Yeah. But other than that, it's a pretty direct rehash of the first Pirates movie, repeating entire scenes from the movie almost beat for beat.
Having to do a parlay both in battle and in the story.
Yeah. One of the scenes earning Kingdom Hearts 2 its use of alcohol label as Barbossa chugs a bottle of wine in his skeleton form, spilling it all over himself.
That's such a great thing that they do in the movies,
Yeah.
though. You kind of can't not do that. I fully assumed you'd be like, and then Sora has to find out where all the rum is gone.
Oh my god.
But this is more appropriate, I get it.
Way more appropriate. It also features Jack Sparrow shooting a gun at Barbossa, killing him. Somehow, still rated E for everyone.
Okay.
Since we're already talking water worlds, let's get the worst one out of the way.
Let's dive in.
Atlantica, home of Ariel of the Little Mermaid. This isn't even a real map, as everyone hated the swimming so much in the first game, they eliminated 99.9% of the gameplay here.
Hell yeah.
Instead, Atlantica is home to the worst rhythm game I've ever played in my life.
Okay, now you are naturally good at rhythm games.
Thank you.
I've seen you do incredibly well S-tier shit on Guitar Hero. You had a very long run doing Beat Saber. I know you have the dexterity for it, so I take that very heavily when you say this one fucking sucks.
You'd think the music of The Little Mermaid would lend itself to a rhythm game,
Yeah.
but they only used 2 songs from the soundtrack and then wrote a bunch of originals
No.
for the other songs you have to play, and spoiler alert, they're fucking terrible.
Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote a rap for fucking Scuttle in the live action Little Mermaid. Is this kind of on that level?
It's way lower than that.
Somehow.
As a fan of rhythm games, this was offensively bad. As much as I hate the Winnie the Pooh section, this is far worse. And I refuse to even set Finn on Atlantica when I play this game today,
Eat shit.
hoping it gets taken over by the Heartless because fuck that world.
You just want to see them all become sushi.
They can all die. On the other hand, one of my and most fans' favorite worlds is Halloween Town from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, that's just because you're so goth.
Already acquainted with Jack, he greets you with a Merry Christmas, saying that this year's Halloween is going to have a splash of Christmas to go with it.
Of course, that's his whole deal.
He invites you to join him on a visit to Christmas Town. He wants Sandy Claus to give his blessing on a Halloween Town Christmas. It's a really cool way to revisit a world that never got a sequel or TV series or anything else to lean on. It just went with a different part of the story than the first game did.
What I would give for an open world Nightmare Before Christmas game where you could go into every single holidays world.
It's criminal we haven't seen the other worlds.
I just want to go to St. Patrick's Day World and see all the gold and the shamrocks. I want to go to Easter World and eat all the candy and the eggs, you know. I want to go to Arbor Day, look at some trees.
Look at some trees and shit.
Yeah.
Well, no, here we go to Christmas World only. Here, you walk into a workshop where you see a man in a big red suit and long white beard.
Hades.
No.
Oh, wait, no, I know what this is. You know who it always is?
Oh my God.
It was Comstock the whole time.
No, it's fucking Santa Claus.
Now it's Santa?
Because you said, and I quote, we need more games with Santa Claus in them.
When did I say that?
I finally set you up to correctly guess Santa Claus, and you went and did this instead. I give up.
Take a bio shot, everyone. It was Comstock the whole time.
Honestly, just for that, we're done with Christmas Town.
No more. Christmas is canceled, everyone.
All right, here. Lock, Shock, and Barrel are the bad guys this time, working with Maleficent, and you have to save Halloween Town Christmas.
You're so upset right now.
It's too bad, too, because you get a special goth as fuck black Santa Claus outfit and everything. Goofy's a reindeer, Donald's a snowman. It's fucking adorable.
That sounds so great.
But no, now the audience will never know how Maleficent resurrects Oogie Boogie from the dead so he can kidnap Santa in order to transform him from Santa Claus into Santa Heartless.
Damn.
It's okay, though, because you do save Christmas in the end, and it doesn't really have any impact on the actual story anyway.
I fixed it. You're welcome, everyone.
Same goes for the Pride Rock world of Lion King. It takes place during adult Simba's story just before returning to defeat Scar. The coolest aspect of this level being you get to transform into a lion yourself and can move really quickly.
That's fucking sick.
Overall, there's not a lot of diversion from the movie story, it's just add some Heartless to the mix. but it's a really solid section of the game otherwise and a nice change up to the usual gameplay. We also get to go to Agrabah, this time playing through the events of Disney's first ever straight-to-video sequel, Return of Jafar. It's cool in that you at least get a big zone to fly around on the magic carpet, but it's otherwise nothing special and a pretty straightforward stop Jafar and unlock the next path kind of section. The final stop on your tour of the worlds is a return visit to Twilight Town. As soon as you arrive, Vivi runs by saying there's trouble in the Sandlot.
And it's really Vivi this time, right?
It's really Vivi this time.
Okay.
It's some Heartless. So you fight them off, eventually meeting an organization member who says he's looking for Axel. He's gone rogue and is no longer working towards the organization's best interests.
Oh, shit.
He warns you that Axel will stop at nothing to turn you into a Heartless and not to trust him. He vanishes through a portal, and then Pence approaches you saying that you just missed Kyrie.
Oh, fuck.
She was here looking for you. But then some dude with red hair showed up, telling her that she should leave that to the big kids, and then he grabbed her and carried her off back through his own portal.
Oh, God.
You're like, cool. So Axel has Kyrie, which means she's alive and out here looking for you.
But she's kidnapped, so there's that.
You unlock the path back to Hollow Bastion and head straight to Merlin's house. There are Heartless and Nobodies everywhere, as the town has gotten more overrun since the last time you were here.
Ah, shit.
On the way to Merlin's house, you run into Final Fantasy VII's Cloud Strife,
He's just wandering around.
being all broody and stoic off in a corner. He says that he's chasing down his darker half, a man named Sephiroth.
Who used to be Lance Bass.
For no fucking reason.
For no reason, and I love it.
You ask what he looks like, and Cloud says he's got long gray hair and carries a big sword.
And he's tearing up my heart.
You're like, that describes 90% of Tetsuya Nomura characters. You'll need to be more specific.
You know we're in a Final Fantasy title, right?
You promise to keep an eye out for him and continue on your way. Nobody's at Merlin's house, and there's a note saying they're located at a lab deeper into Hollow Bastion, on the road towards Maleficent's castle. On the way, you run into Aerith. She says they found Ansem's computer, and the king is here messing around with it to see what he can learn. All three of you are excited to finally see King Mickey again, and maybe get some answers about where Riku went. Aerith points you in the direction of the lab, which is so far around a corner and down a hill that there's no earthly way you could see where she was pointing.
She just kind of vaguely gestures.
Yeah. But you head inside and find yourself in a circular office. It's been long abandoned, having been ransacked over time. Books scattered about and cobwebs growing. On one of the walls is a portrait of Ansem, looking young and strong. Leon appears out of fucking nowhere while your back is turned, and you ask him where the king is. He says you'll get to see him soon, but in the meantime, follow him. Putting his hand on a wall, a panel disappears, and behind it is a very high-tech hallway, similar to the computer lab Diz was using in Twilight Town.
Cool.
You find yourselves in a different computer lab, this one with a single giant monitor as opposed to a bunch of smaller ones. You know nothing about computers, and start bashing your fists into the keyboard demanding answers.
I love that for him.
From above, a visitor comes falling down on top of you.
Oh?
It's my all-time favorite Disney character, Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh!
He dances on the keyboard, causing an alarm to go off.
We've only abused this piece of machinery.
Entirely, right?
Between factory reset Sora and an alien.
In fact, a voice warns you not to touch the computer anymore. So Donald dives after Stitch, touching the computer a whole lot more.
This is really Donald's fault. Perfect.
Leon tells you to watch out, but it's too late. A light shines down on your party, and you each disappear 1 pixel at a time.
Including Stitch?
No, not Stitch. Stitch gets away.
Good for him.
You get sucked into the computer, where you have to live out the 1980s techno sci-fi weird as fuck live action movie, Tron.
Why is Tron in this?
I have no fucking clue. I have never understood the love for this franchise.
I don't understand why it is.
Why does it exist at all?
See, like, they've gone, like, hard Disney. Obviously, Disney Renaissance, and, like, the animated princess series. And then Tron?
And then Tron is thrown in here. But, you know, it's about a guy that gets sucked into a video game.
Okay, I see you.
I will admit the light cycle section is pretty cool. But, like, the rest of it, I don't get.
Disney's trying so hard to make Tron a thing.
I know, and yet not trying at all.
Well, they put in a ride in Disney World, right?
Yeah, they did.
You're
They're
on the
just
bike.
half-assing it the whole way through this franchise.
They haven't put out a Tron movie in 15 years, but they're like, hey guys, remember this? You know, it's not like it's one where they're churning sequels out and like
Yeah.
trying to do a web series or like comics or any other pieces of media. They're really just like, hey guys, we still have the rights to Tron. Do you want a little bit of Tron in very small amounts in weird touch points, but not movies anymore?
Well, there's a new one coming.
There is?
Yeah, there's a new one, and there's a trailer for it.
Oh.
Doesn't look terrible, but also it's just I don't understand.
Does it-
It's so late. Like it's the third movie, and it's like still following the fucking franchise. Anyway.
How do you really feel?
Well, the biggest change they make to Tron here is that the Master Control Program operates the Hollow Bastion defense systems, and it's going haywire, corrupted by the Heartless.
Classic Tron shit.
Right. Otherwise, it's once again a bit of a reimagining, with you being the person sucked into the video game world, leaving out the movie's actual main character.
The Tron.
No, Tron is here, and he is a character.
I thought Tron was the name of the game. I don't know shit about Tron. I saw the one with Olivia Wilde and Daft Punk. I don't fucking know.
Nope, the name of the game is Space Paranoids. It's as confusing as Kingdom Hearts, don't worry.
I'm gonna sit this one out.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Well, the character Tron himself is the computer's internal IT guy, essentially. The files you need are in this computer, which will give you all sorts of info on the organization as well as the Heartless. After all, the user that Tron works for is a man named Ansem the Wise. In order to regain control of the system, Tron needs a password that only Ansem the Wise has. So you exit the computer to see if you can find it in his office somewhere. You tell Leon the situation. He's like, damn, you guys killed Ansem a while back. This could be a dead end.
As dead as Ansem.
Searching his office, you remove the portrait from the wall to reveal a bunch of writing.
There's always some shit on the back of a painting. We should hide shit behind our art.
Right? We really should, or we shouldn't.
Oh.
The most legible of it all, mentioning something called the Door to Darkness. A voice from behind goes, did somebody say door to darkness?
Have you been waiting for that? I love that.
They're instantly recognizable as it's King Mickey himself wearing an organization cloak.
Thank you for not doing the voice.
I did a completely different one, right?
Yeah. Oh, did somebody say... No. I don't want to get sued. I feel you.
There are some lines that just sound very silly coming out of these voices. He tells you the password is the name of the 7 princesses. Leon heads off to figure out the order they're in while you chat with the king.
Yeah, are there spaces? Are there capitals? Are we doing some like numeric symbols in place of certain vowels and shit? Come on, man.
He says that with the information in the computer, you'll be able to track down Ansem. You say that you've already defeated Ansem, which Mickey responds, I guess I have some explaining to do. Leon interrupts saying he figured it out on his first try and that Tron is waiting for you.
What the fuck? Wait, can we have Leon be a part of the IT team too?
He should be, right?
He should be working with Tron or some shit. Like, he's very good at this.
Mickey tells you to go ahead. He'll be here when you get back. Then he'll explain everything.
Go do this other shit and then you can have the lore as a treat.
Back inside the computer, you have to fight your way to Tron, who is being held captive by the Master Control Program. When you rescue him, he asks why you didn't just email the password to him, and you're like, what's an email?
I fucking hate it here.
This rescue could have been an email.
I am traumatized in corporate. Motherfucker.
After defeating the MCP, you explain to Tron that Ansem didn't give you the password. You just kind of figured it out. That's because Ansem is the bad guy. Tron says he figured that out. Ansem was the one who reprogrammed the Master Control Program to be an asshole. Tron insists Ansem wasn't always a bad person, but that he became that way. The Ansem that reprogrammed the Master Control Program, that wasn't the Ansem that Tron knew anyway. In the end, the Door to Darkness reference that you found earlier is just the name of the folder Ansem keeps all his top secret shit inside.
Oh, wait. This dumb dipshit. You're supposed to label. Here's how you hide porn on your computer. You write like taxes or receipts or like to be filed or some shit. You know, like that's a classic thing. I'm not even inventing that. You know, I'm not groundbreaking. This dumb sack of shit isn't even. He's just labeling it, this is plot relevant. Like, at least put a fucking password on it. Hide it from the desktop. Everyone in here is not tech savvy and it's driving me crazy. And I'm sure it's making Tron even crazier because he's like, that's my whole fucking deal.
Yeah, this guy labels his files like a fucking nerd.
Ugh.
Tron sends you out of the computer, letting you know he changed the password to the much easier Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
Oh, I did say password.
If any of you dorks out there listening are using that as your password, I suggest changing it because I just broadcast it to a whole bunch of people.
No, don't. Honestly, you deserve it at this point. They're going to get your whole Google Drive, baby.
Back in the real world, Leon accesses the Door to Darkness folder and then leaves it open for you to peruse.
I hate that. Sorry. I'm not over the fact that there's a folder labeled Door of Darkness. Probably next to like screenshots, memes, fucking receipts to be filed. I hate it.
King Mickey went into town to fight off some Heartless, so he goes to fetch him. You search for a minute, getting 0 answers to your questions. So you start punching the keyboard angrily.
Yep.
It pulls up a file on a man with long golden blonde hair and a blonde goatee. Very clean looking, like a college professor wearing a white suit and a red scarf around his neck.
I've never seen someone with a goatee and thought, they're probably a professor.
This guy just looks it.
Okay. I usually think magician.
You have no idea who he is, but King Mickey walks in and goes, "Oh great, you found a file on Ansem the Wise."
Oh.
You literally pick up Mickey and drag him to the other room to show him the portrait of Ansem. He's younger than the guy in the picture and has gray hair. Every aspect about these two men are completely different. Mickey's like, "Oh right, I was just about to explain before you left."
Yes, the plot of the game.
So finally, Mickey explains and retreated to some flashbacks of big moments we've had with Ansem over the course of the series. Mickey says that the guy in the portrait is definitely the guy you fought and defeated. But the guy you fought and defeated wasn't a person. He was a Heartless.
Farts.
Also, his name was never Ansem. He just ran around telling everyone it was.
An impostor.
Yeah, you're like, great, we defeated an imposter. Mickey says, yeah, but he still needed to be stopped.
Yeah. That doesn't negate that he was being a dick, though. So you did the right thing. Not the guy you thought it was, though.
Ansem the Wise should have all the answers, like who the fake Ansem really was, as well as the organization's plans.
There is Ansem the Wise, then Ansem the Wise ass. And we killed
Right.
Ansem the Wise ass.
Goofy says, hold up. If the fake Ansem was a Heartless, then does that mean there's also a nobody of him running around too?
Oh, the math is mathing.
Mickey says, yep, and he is the leader of Organization XIII.
Le gasp.
Mickey tells you that he's met both versions, and they felt like they were basically the same asshole.
He was heartless and a shell of a man regardless of whoever I was speaking to in whatever form.
You ask the king if he knows where Riku is, and Mickey turns away, unable to even look at you, saying he can't help.
Oh no.
You tell him that you think the organization may have kidnapped Kairi, and Mickey fucking loses it. He goes, okay, I was going to find Ansem the Wise, but I realize I've been selfish and have been asking you to do literally all the work, and I haven't helped you once. So I'm going to help you find and rescue Kairi.
Good.
She is one of the princesses of heart after all.
Oh.
Suddenly the whole building shakes, so you run outside to see what's going on. Outside, armies of heartless and nobodies are battling one another.
Oh shit.
Maleficent and Pete leading the charge, with the evil witch telling the heartless to kill the nobodies. Pete points out that the nobodies are winning and runs away just as you arrive on the scene.
Oh god, he's so annoying. I can't wait to kick him in the dick.
Since you are the enemy of both, Maleficent vanishes, telling the heartless to focus on you instead, knowing the nobodies will do the same.
The enemy of my enemy is not my friend. The enemy of my enemy are gonna fight each other and then gang up to fight me and Mickey Mouse.
King Mickey runs ahead to help the rest of the resistance against the invading heartless and nobodies. On the way to catching up with him, you run into Sephiroth. You tell him Cloud is looking for him, so he tells you to let him know he'll be in the same spot waiting for him. You catch up to Leon fighting some heartless, along with Aerith, slashing your way through the hordes of enemies with your allies by your side. You're in a canyon area on the outskirts of Hollow Bastion. It's the path they're taking to invade the town. so you're fighting through it backwards, carving a path through them. At the end of the canyon is a large and empty open area. Marching through it are the millions of Heartless you saw forming the moat around Maleficent's castle.
Oh, shit.
We see shots of your allies battling the Heartless, teaming up in pairs like Yuffie and Aerith. Even Stitch gets in on the action, pulling his laser pistols out and fucking up every Heartless in his path.
In his defense, he just loves fucking shit up.
Oh, he absolutely does.
He doesn't really care what side he's fighting for. He just wants to get his blasters out.
The scene culminating in my personal, all-time favorite moment in any video game period.
Wow.
Cloud Strife and Leon, also known as Squall Lionheart, the main characters of both Final Fantasies VII and VIII. Two people who have never met before this point in any game stand back to back. Cloud with his 6-foot signature Buster sword, and Squall with his equally large gunblade. They're standing on a narrow path, mountain on one side, cliff on the other, and hundreds of Heartless closing in on them from either path. The camera spins around them like they're in a fucking Michael Bay movie, showing off just how outnumbered the two are. Speaking over his shoulder, Squall asks, "You think you can handle this many?" Cloud responds, "It might be tough if one more shows up." Squall laughs and says, "Then that'll have to be the one I take care of." Cloud finishes with, "Oh what, you're fighting too?" Then the two kick off one another and charge at the oncoming Heartless, slaughtering them all.
Oh, that's so fucking cool.
For a Final Fantasy fan, this was our Avengers Assemble moment.
Oh.
This was the most ambitious crossover in history. I got a scene with Stitch, Cloud, and Squall kicking fucking ass together.
That's what's up.
I genuinely never felt that way again until I heard the words Avengers Assemble back in 2019.
Oh.
It's a scene that doesn't last very long, but my god, did it hit every fucking happy button I had and still does to this day.
That's beautiful. I love hearing about your favorite moments. This is so great.
Mickey joins you by your side and tells you that Leon and the others have this battle handled and tells you to go find Kairi and Riku. They must be here too. You protest, saying this war is way more important right now. Mickey orders Donald and Goofy to take you away from here and to go find Kairi and Riku. Donald tells you to be a good boy and do as you're told, with a nice big wink to go along with it.
Through that ridiculous fucking voice,
I know.
too. I can't do it, obviously. But it's even worse than that. You keep saying these like great epic things with Donald and Goofy, and it's like, oh, well, don't forget Sora. You know, I appreciate that you're like removing that because it would take me out, but it's kind of taking me out right now to think about.
With Mickey's back turned, the three of you charge into battle, apologizing and saying you hope he can forgive you.
Oh.
Mickey smiles, knowing he can't stop you. You encounter the same organization member you met in the underworld. This time you defeat him entirely as he fades into nothingness and dies. King Mickey catches up as the guy is fading, and he looks pissed. Then says it looks like you'll need some more help out there on the battlefield, and agrees to join you. The four of you head toward the next fight, when high up on a canyon wall, a Heartless blows a chunk of boulder off the rocky hillside. Goofy looks up and sees it's heading right toward Mickey. He yells, "Look out!" pushing Mickey out of the way, and taking the 2-ton boulder straight to the fucking dome.
Oh.
Goofy goes flying and smashes into a wall headfirst at high speed.
Oh, shit.
You all run over except for Mickey. He can't believe what he just saw.
He's like shell-shocked.
The full weight of what happens when you give one of your best friends the job title of head of security.
Oh, fuck.
Donald yells at Goofy, saying he has to get up. He's the king's captain. But it's no use. Goofy isn't moving. He's not even breathing. Goofy is dead.
What the fuck?
King Mickey's hands shake uncontrollably and ball up into fists of rage. He turns to look at the war raging a few hundred yards away with fury in his eyes,
Ugh.
saying, "They'll pay for this."
Mickey says this.
Mickey Mouse says this.
Oh, you'll pay for this.
Ha-ha! He throws off his cloak, revealing a red jumpsuit underneath.
It's like when you see a girl take her earrings off and you're like, God damn it, now I gotta fight.
Yep. He holds out his hand, making his golden keyblade appear, and he runs off to take out his aggression.
Hell yeah.
Donald fucking rages, letting out a noise of pure anger I don't think the voice actor has ever had to perform for Donald before.
That's sick.
Chasing after the king. Looking down at poor Goofy and wiping away a tear, you leave him there and chase after Donald and the king.
What else can you do?
You run through a few more canyons, killing Heartless along the way. Mickey and Donald are found in a cave just before reaching the giant open area of the war itself. The three of you take a moment to be sad about losing Goofy. When suddenly, from behind you hear, "Hey fellas!" and see Goofy, alive and well, smiling that big stupid grin of his.
Motherfucker. Yeah, you can't kill Goofy. They wouldn't let Goofy have a sword. They specifically said Goofy can only use a shield.
Yeah.
Which he ironically didn't use for this part.
Right.
Well enough, at least. Yeah, you're not gonna kill fucking Goofy.
There must have been some contract stuff that Disney made Square Enix sign that said Goofy can't be fake dead for more than 2 minutes. They do not let that fake out sit with you for long enough.
Okay. So they immediately backpedal.
Fully.
They really didn't want you to put down the controller and like cry or have an emotional moment. They're like, no, we promise it's okay. We're so sorry.
He's like, come on, guys, I get hit in the head all the time.
Motherfucker, my name is Goofy. You don't get to be named Goofy without brain damage. I'm fine.
Donald hits Goofy in the shin, angry for making him worry.
He got hit by a boulder, so Donald's reaction to seeing his best friend alive is to assault him?
Yep. It's like R2-D2 and C-3PO.
All right, man. I get it.
But now that the four of you are together, you rush out to the battle. When you get there, the Heartless army has stopped, and they're all just standing still. High up above on a canyon wall, a cloaked person appears. He removes his hood, revealing the face of the fake Ansem's nobody, the leader of Organization XIII.
Oh, shit.
Seeing his face, Mickey suddenly has a memory come to him, and he flashes back to a conversation he had with Ansem the Wise a long time ago. The two of them were in Ansem's office before it was destroyed, having some sea salt ice cream pops.
A delicacy.
Ansem the Wise is telling King Mickey how glad he is that he and Mickey have been able to conduct so many successful experiments in their research into the Heartless. But they were both worried about the stability between worlds, afraid that their research is what's causing the Heartless to spread. A knock on the door is heard, and the fake Ansem walks in, dressed in the shirt he was wearing in his portrait. He asks Ansem's permission to continue on with an experiment he has been working on lately. Ansem forbids him, saying that the door to the heart of all worlds must not be tampered with.
I would agree. Probably don't fuck with the portals to other worlds.
The imposter tries to argue, but Ansem the Wise says, Xehanort, you need to stop and focus on something else instead.
We're adding a Xehanort to this.
Yeah, we are.
Man, I need a chart. I need a fucking whiteboard so I can... We got a couple Ansems going on. There's the full suite of Disney characters, which again, I have a very like passing knowledge of.
Right.
I don't know all their names, but I can kind of recognize them. So auditorily, it's a little tricky to keep track of. I need to write this down. I need a book to doodle in.
As per usual, Brian David Gilbert has done a Polygon video on all of this.
We will drop that in the Discord. It is perfect.
With that, Xehanort excuses himself. Back in the canyon, Mickey says he recognizes him now that he's seen him in person. He was Ansem's apprentice, a man named Xehanort. The leader of Organization XIII is Xehanort's nobody, meaning the person you defeated in the first game was really his Heartless. You can see why this all gets really confusing, I'm sure.
Yeah, God bless you for doing this.
But honestly, the only thing that has changed is the person's name. Everything else about them and what they've done is still true.
That's the excuse catfish give when they're fucking caught, Tom. My feelings were you for real, just my photos were fake.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter right now, as the Heartless army around you begin to move again and advance. Mickey chases after Xehanort with Donald and Goofy, as you are left alone, surrounded by the Heartless. Kicking off a battle where you have to kill literally 1,000 enemies.
And you have to kill all of them?
Who all appear on screen at the same time with zero lag.
That's cool. This is so early for this kind of adoption. Like, it's still a selling point for games in the last few years. Like, that was a selling point of Days Gone, that you could fight that many enemies all at once to have their own AI. This is really cool and very innovative for the medium.
It was a technological marvel for the time that rivaled anything anyone had ever done prior.
Absolutely.
It was such a marvel. They used this sequence as their demo at E3 prior to its release.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I know this because I was invited to the E3 where the sequence was being demoed.
Oh, that's cool.
I got hired to be a cameraman by a guy who was making a student film documentary about E3.
Oh.
He hired me because I had quote-unquote experience with E3, having gone to it twice as a child with my dad.
That's not... Yeah. Sure. Yeah, man.
So I got a chance to try it out before its release while I was on the job as a cameraman. Fun fact, the guy that hired me did go on to direct a pre-Disney Marvel movie.
Oh, shit.
But it's one of the biggest train wrecks in the history of comic book movies, so we're not going to talk too much about that one.
Oh, no.
I actually never even got to see the documentary either, as I wasn't a classmate of his or anything. I was just a random job I scored, and I don't think it ever released beyond school.
Oh, but that'd be fun if you found it.
I would love to. So yeah, you use some QTE moves to help make the battle a little easier on you, but it's an incredible moment after a series of incredible moments. Honestly, every step of this war on Hollow Bastion is expert storytelling and gameplay, each complementing each other the way those elements should. After your victory, you catch up to Donald, Goofy, and the King. Mickey is just confronting Xehanort as you join them. Mickey calls to him, and Xehanort goes, "Oh my god, I stopped going by that name ages ago."
Don't dead name me.
You tell him to stuff it and tell you where Riku and Kairi are. He's like, "I don't know who the fuck Kairi is, but as for Riku, you should really be asking the king here about Riku."
God damn it. Can we all have a fucking all hands meeting? You just put the questions on the board, get the answers, because what the fuck is this?
Mickey tells Xehanort to stop, but he steps through a portal, which Mickey dives into right behind him.
You got some splaining to do, Mickey.
It's gone by the time you try to do the same, and the two of them vanish together. By now, you've made it to just outside Maleficent's castle, and it's silent. No Heartless, no nobodies, nothing.
Too quiet.
You wonder what's going on, and Axel speaks from behind saying, "You walked right into the organization's trap. Xemnas planned the whole time to get you here so you could kill a shitload of Heartless." You're like, who the fuck is Xemnas?
Okay, I was wondering, I was like, which one did I miss? God damn it. There is Stitch, Xenomorph. I'm getting lost in the sauce over here.
Axel says that Xehanort's nobody is going by Xemnas. Got it memorized?
He finally said the thing. I've been waiting for him to say the thing. But also, is this relevant to put a name change on this character?
Yes.
Oh, it is? Okay. I was like, this feels a little superfluous just to be like, nah, I'm going by a nickety name now. Like, all right, man. Like, put on a fucking hello, my name is badge because I'm having trouble tracking.
Goofy asks for more info on why Xemnas wanted you to kill a bunch of Heartless. Axel says that every Heartless that gets killed with the Keyblade releases the heart. The organization is collecting those released hearts. So every Heartless that you kill is helping the organization achieve their goals.
And you've just been farming them for them.
You just killed 1,000 of them.
Oh, farts.
Looking him over, you realize that he matches the description you got from Pence about the guy who kidnapped Kairi.
Oh, shit.
He says, "That's a bingo. The name is Axel." Got it memorized?
Oh, he said it twice.
You ask where Kairi is, and he sags his head in a defeated fashion. He says, "Look, so about Kairi." But he's interrupted as another member of the organization appears, making Axel vanish.
Oh, god damn it. Poor Sora. Sora's just like, please, I am begging for a crumb of context. And then every time someone's about to help, they vanish into a portal.
Right. The member that appeared is named Sayx. Honestly, there are so many members, and only a few are important enough to name anymore. Sayx is the last one that actually needs a name, so I'm going to be leaving the rest unnamed going forward, as they're pretty interchangeable with the exception of a few.
Okay.
Sayx tells you that Axel will be punished when he is caught. Not to worry.
Because Axel's been a turncoat.
You ask about Kairi, and he says she's in their custody and is unharmed. You ask to be taken to her, and he says you need to prove how much she means to you.
Oh my god, look around, dude. Sora was just a happy beach kid.
Right.
Okay? All of this is because of the Keyblade finding him, and now he's on this adventure for Kyrie. Don't make him prove it. He has.
Well, you drop to both knees, pledging your allegiance to the organization.
Oh, I would have just been like, we shared a fruit once, man. There's wall art about it, okay? We're friends.
Sayx laughs and still says no. But it's nice to see how far you're willing to go.
Ugh, that sucks.
Instead, he summons a grip of Heartless, telling you to keep on killing them, help them achieve their final goal.
Ugh.
With enough hearts, they can open the door to Kingdom Hearts, where the nobody members of Organization XIII can be reunited with their own hearts at long last.
Would that be the worst thing?
Who knows? Naminé say at the beginning, some are willing to do really bad things to achieve those goals.
That's true. So if their Ha and their Ka come back together. Am I blurring lines? It's a crossover game, so I don't know where the boundaries are.
It's so hard. Honestly, the parallels are really strong between this and Death Stranding, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. It's difficult to see where the actual boundaries of the title are, but okay, I get you. Yeah, some of them could get really fucked up if they get back to full power.
From behind you, Maleficent appears saying, "Excuse the fuck me?
Oh my god, that's right. We're on her lawn having this conversation.
Kingdom Hearts is my dominion, and the Heartless are mine to control." She summons more and has them surround Sayx. In response, Sayx calls upon some dusk nobodies, who quickly stomp out Maleficent's minions. Maleficent raises her arms, creating a wall of green flame in front of you, keeping you away from the battle. She says not to misunderstand. She will have her revenge on you yet. But for right now, she's buying you time to figure out a way to kill these nobody fucks once and for all.
She's so devious. You gotta respect it.
You're like, go to hell. I don't take orders from you. So instead, you watch Maleficent get surrounded by nobodies, and she screams out. The flames die down, and the nobodies move, showing just her cape lying on the ground.
Yeah, Maleficent can turn into a bird. That's canonical. And you know what? Birds can fly, bitch.
Sayx laughs and summons a bunch of Heartless. You're like, what the fuck? Why do you control the Heartless and the nobodies?
That feels unbalanced.
He says that with Maleficent gone, they're following the strongest person here. Then he teleports away, thanking you for all your help killing the Heartless.
Ugh, Jesus. Poor Sora. Again, factory reset at the beginning of the game. Fucking, he's so alone. He doesn't know where any of his friends are. He's just with his new coworkers who, again, have lived a whole year without him. So there's inside jokes he's missing.
Right.
He hasn't had a fucking popsicle in God knows how long. He misses his Palpoo fruit. He hasn't seen his mother since he was 12 years old. And now he's being puppeted by rival organizations. And it's just, this poor fucking kid. He should be in the club, is what I'm trying to get at.
You get attacked and defend yourself, releasing more hearts to the organization. You're like, fuck, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, there's no good alternative. What do you just get your ass kicked? No.
It's my job to kill the Heartless, but doing so is helping the bad guys. So you go into pure defense mode, blocking hits, but never returning them. In your mind, you think, what am I supposed to do if I can't use the Keyblade? In response, the voice of Maleficent says, "Imbecile, I really have to do everything, don't I?"
I love also her energy that she's so fucking sick of everyone she's ever interacted with. She's like, I'm so much goddamn smarter than all of you, and I hate you for it.
The scene turns white, and we're taken to a mountain's ledge on the other side of the battlefield canyon. Leon and Cloud are looking out at Maleficent's castle in the distance. They see the bright white light coming from it, scaring Leon.
Oh no.
Cloud tells him to relax. Those three have a talent for surviving literally everything. A beam of light shoots off into the sky, and Leon follows it with his eyes, saying, "See you soon." In the organization's throne room, Sayx relays that Sora now knows the truth about killing Heartless. This will make Sora more difficult to control when the time comes to open the door to Kingdom Hearts. So Xemnas tells the remaining members to go out and make Sora's life a living hell.
Oof.
So he's forced to keep killing Heartless. Put people in danger, especially his friends.
Yeah, we don't want him to be at full power.
No.
Fuck that.
Back in Hollow Bastion, we get to see what happened with that bright white light. Maleficent sucked you into the realm of darkness to save you. While in the black void of that realm, You call out for Riku and Kairi. Instead of them, you see a hooded organization member holding a white box. You run to him, and he vanishes, leaving behind the box. Inside, you find a single sea salt ice cream pop,
Oh,
as well as a photo.
he's been wanting a popsicle. He's deserved it.
It has Hayner, Pence, Olette, and a fourth kid wearing black and white with blonde hair. You look at the picture and say that his name is Roxas. You have never seen this person before, but you know with certainty that this is Roxas.
It's kind of like when you see a picture of Lady Gaga. Even if you don't know what she looks like, you're like, that person's definitely named Lady Gaga.
Using your Keyblade, you unlock the Realm of Darkness so you can get back to the gummy ship. There, you wonder about that picture and why you know who this Roxas kid is. You also worry about the fact that killing Heartless helps the organization. But Goofy tells you that the Heartless hurt people, so you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
You still need to do your one job. You decide to go check on all your friends in the different worlds to see if their Heartless problems are getting better or worse, worried that the organization is going to make things much harder now. You go back out to the different Disney worlds that you've already visited, each one with a sliver of extra story they managed to squeeze out, giving you a chance to grind before heading into the final chapters.
So you essentially do 2 laps through the Disney worlds?
You do, yeah.
Okay, so this game where they specifically said in their mission statement that they were not reusing assets.
Not from the other game.
But within the same game.
It's a little padded, but you do need to grind. Honestly, you'd need to be high level for the ending.
I just appreciate the irony.
Each world has a different organization member there causing trouble, luring you in to kill Heartless. They all remove their hoods and introduce themselves, eventually engage in battle, with you defeating them. All of them with the exception of one. In Mulan's world, the member you square off against never speaks or removes their hood. When you fight them, the weapon they use you've only ever seen wielded by one other person, as it's a Keyblade.
Oh.
That person being Riku.
Oh.
But the mystery person runs off before you can ask them any questions. You do encounter a different member here as well, but the Emperor of China confirms that Riku had been here too, saying the person he met with was very rude, and you're like, it was Riku!
That's my friend! He's a dick!
You wonder why he's working with the organization, but table that thought for now while you check on the other locations. You can also now visit the Underworld Coliseum, where there are challenges you can complete, but very little in terms of additional information. Or if you want to torture yourself, complete Winnie the Pooh's side quests so you no longer have to worry about that silly old bear.
I feel like there's no way you can be that fucked up in Winnie the Pooh world. You know, I get Hercules. There's arenas, there's gladiators, like there's some inherent violence that you could bake into the gameplay element of it. But what the fuck is Eeyore gonna do? Just be like extra sad and be like, oh, Rabbit needs to get some fucking carrots. The Heartless are hiding the carrots. There's no way to fuck that one up to be dark, you know?
No, there's no Heartless in Winnie the Pooh world.
Oh.
So it is just like everything you said without the Heartless part of it.
Okay, so it truly is just like, let's go chase the red balloon, I guess.
That is part of it, yeah.
Stop! I was trying to think of the dumbest shit imaginable.
You nailed it in one.
All right, I win.
Well, doing so will take you to Hollow Bastion anyway, as that's where his book is being kept. When you land, you find out that the Master Control Program has gone rogue once again,
God damn it.
and it's turning the town's defenses against its citizens. So you have to head back into the computer to help Tron fix this shit.
Leon should be on call for things like this. He's very good with computers.
Way better than Sora.
Right?
You digitize back inside, ultimately replacing the MCP with Tron himself,
Oh.
knowing he'll always keep the town safe.
And like, what else is he doing?
Back on the outside, everything has returned to normal, with the town's security systems online and the Heartless population under control. Tron sends you a message saying that he found an old blueprint of the original design of Hollow Bastion, and offers to use it to restore the town to its former glory,
Oh.
to which you agree. He enlists the help of some magic rain to instantly transform the town.
I love when a magic rain is used in
Right.
anything.
Leon looks out at everything getting repaired, saying he just remembered. Hollow Bastion wasn't the original name for this place. Merlin is like, yeah, I've always wondered why the name was so depressing sounding. Hollow Bastion meaning basically empty refuge.
It is a bummer, you know?
But now this magic rain has made everything bright and beautiful. the complete opposite of a hollow bastion. So everyone agrees to change the name back to its original one, Radiant Garden.
I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that.
With Radiant Garden restored to its former glory, you head to Twilight Town to see what you can figure out about that photo of Roxas with his friends outside the mansion you came out of when you escaped the Lotus Pod. Just outside the open gates, you find Hayner, Pence, and Olette knocked out,
Oh, shit.
lying on the ground in the spot where the photo was taken. You wake them up, asking what happened. They say they were looking for Kyrie when they were attacked by nobodies. You're like, why were you looking for her? Hayner goes, you know you're not the only friend she has, right?
She has friends that go to other schools. She has her camp friends. She's a popular girl. She's really cool to hang out with.
Yeah. They tell you that they came to the mansion because they're starting to think there might be a pathway to an alternate version of Twilight Town here.
Uh-oh.
The proof is that money bag you're carrying around that is identical to the one that Olette has. She made that bag herself from scraps of fabric. There's no reason for two of them to exist.
Interesting. Okay.
You also have one of the crystal marbles from the struggle tournament in the bag, and they have an identical one still attached to the trophy.
Oh, shit.
Since the mansion is the only mysterious place in town, and there are nobodies surrounding it, they figure this must be where the gateway is.
Honestly, good detective work.
Right? It's a solid, path to follow, right?
Yeah.
They ask how you even got the pouch, and you explain that King Mickey gave it to you. They say, see, it all makes sense. You stare at them for a full 5 seconds and go, it does?
Again, Sora's been through a lot. I think everyone should just be a little more patient with Sora as he pieces things back together, okay?
Yeah.
He had to relearn math, talking, reading, writing, everything in the last year while living inside of a lotus, okay?
His brain was in a blender.
Yeah, give him a fucking break. Let's not knock him for being a little slower on the fucking draw.
There are a lot of things that it takes Sora a long time to figure out that the gamer definitely figures out long before he does.
Yeah, I'm not jumping the gun. I have a theory going on, and I assume we're coming towards the third act of it. I'm not going to spoil it, but, I don't want to ruin things for Sora.
To explain what they mean, they say if shit from there can show up here, then maybe stuff from here can end up there. Like Kyrie, and that's why they can't find her. Nobody's surround the area, and as if he was summoned when you said his name, King Mickey shows up to help you kick their asses.
You will be too distracted to ask me more questions, so I'm here to help.
He says he found out that Ants and the Wise snuck into Organization XIII headquarters and has been sneaking around in disguise for a while.
Ooh.
You tell him that's great, because you found Kyrie. Mickey goes, that's great, but why are you here?
Shouldn't you be going after her? The fuck?
Goofy explains that you think Riku may have given you a clue to come here, believing that mysterious person in the void with the white box was him. Mickey keeps saying a few variations of, I'm so glad you think Riku's okay.
What the fuck? I don't like that language.
Yeah, you pick up on the strange phrasing of glad you think Riku's okay.
I'm sorry you feel that way. That's the same line of questioning we're into. Oh, no.
You ask him to tell you what he knows, and he once again turns away, unable to look at you as he says it's not for him to say.
Oh.
You ask why not, and he stammers that he made a promise. You're like, so Riku is okay, because you made a promise to him, didn't you? Olette bends down and asks King Mickey if Riku was the one who gave him the pouch, and then made him promise not to say anything. Mickey is frustrated and goes, come on guys, please don't make me break my promise.
The mouse does not fucking play when it comes to an NDA.
Yeah. You're like, fine, whatever, let's go find Kyrie. Inside, Mickey says you need to locate a computer. That should be able to take you to the other Twilight Town.
The other Twilight Town.
From there, you should be able to find a way to the Realm of Darkness. You're like, oh, you mean the place where I last saw Riku? Mickey goes, Sora, come on, I made a promise.
He's blinking at fucking Morse code at him like, I am begging you, I will get sued if I fuck this NDA up, man.
When you get to the computer lab Diz was using, Pence hops into the chair and taps away, saying he's got this. But there's a password. You're like, the only clues we have are the picture and the sea salt ice cream pop that Donald ate almost immediately.
We could also just try the word password because honestly, that works more often than you'd imagine.
Actually, Mickey goes, that's it. Ants and the Wise loved sea salt ice cream.
It's kind of everyone's favorite treat in this
It's
world.
the only treat in this world.
Yeah.
With the password entered, Pence digitizes you, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy into the virtual world of Twilight Town. The only difference when you arrive, being the computer terminal, is now destroyed. Seeing the destroyed machine, you have a flash of Roxas beating the shit out of it.
Oh.
Through a door that had been previously locked back when you were Roxas, you find the portal to the realm of darkness. Inside, you find yourself in a sort of ethereal tunnel with a similar portal at the far opposite end. You walk toward it and get ambushed by nobodies. You fight with everything you have, but they keep coming. You get tired and start panting when you hear Axel's voice say, "Keep moving or you'll succumb to the darkness."
Oh, shit.
He shows up, cockrams blazing, and helps you kill the surrounding nobodies. Axel gets his ass beat pretty hard during the fight and tells you that yes, he kidnapped Kyrie, but it was for her protection.
It was a good kidnapping.
Sayx then kidnapped her from him. So now she's being held hostage by the organization, and you need to go save her. He says the name Sayx again and then asks, "Got it memorized?"
Okay, so now we're up to 3.
1,000 more nobodies surround the two of you, and Axel says he misses the days when they were on his side. You ask if he has any regrets, and he says, "Not at all. Watch this." He throws his flaming weapons, and they begin to spin around him faster and faster. He throws his arms wide, creating a massive explosion of fire. When the smoke settles, there's nary a nobody in sight, except Axel.
I would open with that move everywhere I went. That's so fucking cool.
While he's lying on the ground, slowly fading into nothingness. You run up to him and he tells you to go find Kyrie. He put everything he had into that last move.
Oh, I get why he doesn't open with that now. All right.
He apologizes for what he did to Kyrie. And you tell him he can apologize to her himself when you find her. He laughs, saying his heart just wouldn't be in it, since, he doesn't have one anyway.
Bum.
You ask why he did all this. Why did he turn against the organization? Why all the chaos and confusion? He says he was just trying to see Roxas again. He was the only person that ever made him feel like he actually had a heart again. Having met you, he says you make him feel almost the same, actually.
Oh, friendship.
With his dying breath, he tells you that Kyrie is in the castle dungeon and to go to her as he opens a portal for you to pass through.
The princess was in the other castle.
The other castle. Taking what little he had left, he fades away once and for all.
Oh, shit. Is he for real dead?
He's for real dead.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's the end of Axel.
That's why he's like, I need you to memorize this shit. I am not long for this world. Ugh, poor Axel.
Through the portal, Mickey rejoins the group, and the four of you enter the world that never was.
Oh.
It's that neon city we've been teased ever since the post-credits scene in the first game.
Yeah.
The one where Roxas and a blindfolded Riku fought a bunch of Heartless together. Centered over the city is a big-ass castle floating high above it all, with a heart-shaped moon highlighting its silhouette. You tell Mickey that Kyrie is in the dungeon of that castle, and Mickey says we'd better hurry. I do love that King Mickey is along for so much of the game,
This is cool.
but he does tend to fuck off a lot during travel sections, then reappear for cutscenes.
Well, he has a private jet, and he's not. You have the gummy ship that's still kind of like a mainliner cruiser situation.
Right.
He's got a gummy bullet train.
Very rarely does he help out in a fight, which sucks because he's an excellent fighter.
Yeah, he does the fucking Yoda flips and shit.
Yeah. In the city's center square that held the Roxas Riku fight, rain begins to fall. Nobodies surround you and cut you off from Donald and Goofy. Suddenly a portal appears, and a cloaked figure steps out of it. They hold out their hand, and the Keyblade Oblivion appears. They rush at you and attack. As you block their blow with your own Keyblade, the moment your blades connect, the two of you are transported away. You appear on the stained glass platform from the tutorial section, across from the hooded figure. They're now holding both Oblivion and Oathkeeper, kicking off one of the most difficult boss fights in the series.
Dual wielding fucking keyblades?
Dual wielding Keyblades.
That's cool as shit.
The only fight to rival it really is Sephiroth, which is an optional boss fight entirely, basically just there for bragging rights.
And it's Sephiroth.
But this one, 100% required. During the fight, you realize it's not Riku you're fighting and ask him to confirm. He says no, he's not. But he defeated a Riku once. The two of you continue to battle it out. Keyblade Master versus Keyblade Master. He asks why you were the one he chose. Leaping high into the air, he sees you standing on the stained glass platform between images of Riku and Kairi. Giving him clarity, he says, "Ah, now I see." He lands down on you and starts fucking wailing away, each hand furiously throwing blow after blow with his keyblades.
Oof.
Your only defense being your own keyblade as you hold it over your head with both hands, as the assailant beats you down until you fall to your knees.
Jesus.
He finally smacks your keyblade from your hands, and you dive after it. Just before you grab it, he drives his own into the hilt, pinning it to the ground.
Oof.
You reach out at your keyblade, which makes it disappear from the ground and appear in your hand.
Nice.
This catches the other guy off guard, and with a final blow, you cut him down.
Hell yeah.
He drops his keyblades, and the scene fades to another time entirely, just outside the mansion, where the gate is locked. Roxas stands, having been on the ground. An organization member enters the scene, saying he knows why you're here, seeking answers and a purpose, promising to give both. Waving his hands, the name Sora appears in the air in front of Roxas. The letters begin to spin around him, rearranging themselves until SORA becomes ROAS, with a giant X appearing in the center. Looking up into the hood, Roxas sees the face of Xemnas, the leader of Organization XIII. So this gives us like the naming convention for all the organization members.
Oh.
So Xemnas is Ansem rearranged with the letter X in it.
Put an X in it. Okay.
So all these different names that you've seen, Axel, Saix, Xehanort even, they are all different names with an X added to it. So Xehanort is just no heart with an X.
You know, that's the same naming convention for MySpace scene kids. So you do a lowercase x and a uppercase X underscore.
Rar.
Yeah. And then some sort of alliterated version of your name, like, I don't know, Anarchy Andrea, whatever,
Right.
it's fine.
The scene flash forwards a few months, and Roxas is sitting in his organization uniform on the ledge of the clock tower in Twilight Town. Axel is there with him. The two discuss nobodies and whether or not they actually have hearts. Roxas says it's not like we can just cut each other open and find out.
Uh-oh.
But he says he knows Sora will find the answer because they're the same person. Handing Roxas a sea salt ice cream pop, Axel wants to talk about the day they met and asks if Roxas has still got it memorized. Because he sure does.
Oh.
The two of them sat right here and did the same thing they're doing now. Had some ice cream and watched the sunset. Roxas says he'll miss it all, but it's time to go meet up with Sora, hoping he'll see his friends again someday. Roxas begins to fade and tells Axel to take care. With a tear rolling down his cheek, Axel says, "Right back at you, buddy."
Oh.
Back on the stained glass platform, the person you were fighting pulls their hood back, revealing themselves to be Roxas. He turns to you smiling and says, "You make a good other." The scenery around you changes again, bringing you back to the city square, where Donald and Goofy are by your side once more. They say you vanished and they were left alone to kill a bunch of nobodies. You tell them that Roxas told you he defeated Riku. And Donald says, "Don't be ridiculous. Nobody can defeat Riku." Goofy says that if Roxas was wearing a cloak, it means he's part of Organization XIII.
Yeah.
So he was probably lying to you about defeating Riku to fuck with you. While your group figures out how to get inside a floating castle, we get a scene of Kairi being held in a cage by the organization. A portal appears in the corner of the room, and Namine peeks through, telling Kairi to follow, saying she needs to trust herself. Namine reaches her hand through the portal, and Kairi takes it. This causes a massive light to appear between their hands, and from outside, you can see it shining through the castle walls, showing you where they are. Using your Keyblade, you create a bridge to the castle, saying you're on your way. Back with Kairi and Namine, they're running through the castle when they're confronted by Saix and some guard nobodies. From behind, someone in a cloak backstabs the guards, killing them.
Oh, shit.
Namine says, "Thanks, Riku.
Oh, shit.
You can take it from here." Kairi's like, "Hold up, Riku?" Riku and Saix battle, and Saix vanishes through a portal, escaping the fight. Kairi tells Riku to remove his hood, and when he does, Xehanort's who we see instead. The scene cuts back to you running through the castle looking for Kairi, when Saix gets in your way. He points at the heart-shaped moon, saying that it's the organization's doorway to Kingdom Hearts. Just one last round of Heartless killing, and it'll be complete.
Oh shit.
Snapping his fingers, the room fills with Heartless. And you're like, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
We have to feed the heartless fucking moon shit now. God damn it.
From up above, you hear your name. Kairi is there on a balcony, and she says to hang on. She dives off the balcony, performing a full-blown superhero landing onto the deck below.
Huh?
Still a story above you.
Holy shit.
Only to get swarmed immediately by Heartless and overpowered.
God damn it, Kairi.
With a slash, the Heartless are defeated.
Oh, okay, Kairi.
Riku's Xehanort is there, pulling her back to her feet. He hands her a keyblade of her own, saying to take it. Holding it in her hand, she slashes it through the air, saying, "This time, I'll fight," and charges into battle.
Hell yeah.
In another part of the castle, King Mickey is battling his way through when he finds a group of nobodies surrounding a downed body. After killing them, Mickey approaches it to find Diz, the man all in red who is voiced by Sir Christopher Lee.
Oh shit.
He has a big-ass machine with him, and he stands up, removing his red bandages as he does, revealing long blonde hair and a blonde goatee, the face of Ansem the Wise.
The professor.
He greets the king, saying it's been a long time, old friend. Mickey is pissed at Ansem for not involving him sooner. Ansem says that Xehanort was his apprentice, so he felt responsible when his nobody Xemnas took over the organization.
Sorcerers and their apprentices are always fucking trouble in these worlds. You know, maybe they should switch to internships. Maybe an apprentice is too close for comfort.
Plus, he really wants revenge, as most of the organization is made up of former employees who stole his research and claimed it as their own.
So I think he's got some structural issues here as well.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe an admin could have helped with this.
He wasn't a good boss.
No.
Mickey Mouse says that his contract states he cannot assist in revenge storylines.
He is all about the contracts, which I really love. He's like, I will not cross an NDA. I have very strict instructions to be clear on exactly what I'm allowed to do and not do. Like, this might be minorly reflective of the actual behind-the-scenes partnership between Square and Disney. I love it.
Ansem says he knows. Riku told him all about how powerful Disney lawyers can be.
Fuck me.
Ansem tells Mickey that Riku is likely joined back up with Sora, Donald, and Goofy. Here we find out what happened with Riku. He left King Mickey because he was struggling with the fact that Xehanort had possessed him during the events of the first game, and he could still feel him inside trying to break free. Mickey suggested finding Ansem the Wise, so Riku set out to do so. When he found Ansem the Wise, he was tasked with finding Roxas, saying it would help wake Sora from his slumber. He had to travel to the realm of darkness to find Roxas, and got his ass handed to him when the two fought. Riku realized he needed to succumb to the darkness if he wanted any hope of beating Roxas. Since the darkest part of his life was during the time he was possessed by Xehanort, his appearance changed, and that's why he looks the way he does now.
Interesting.
When he finally captured Roxas, he had forgotten who he was and was going by Ansem.
Oh.
It impressed Ansem the Wise, seeing how far Riku was willing to go to save his friends. With time, he regained self-awareness, but was left trapped looking like Xehanort.
Oh.
Mickey says that when he saw Riku again after the change, he made Mickey promise never to tell Sora what he went through, knowing the guilt Sora would feel.
Oh.
Ansem the Wise says that he has ruined a lot of lives seeking his revenge. It's time to set things straight and do right by these brave children fighting for the lives of literally everyone in the universe.
Yeah.
Back with Sora, you reach Kairi and Riku. Finally, the three friends reunited after so much time has passed. Kairi says that you never came home, so she came looking for you. And she wraps her arms around you, squeezing you tighter than you've been squeezed in ages.
Oh, this hug has been a really long time coming.
Watching this embrace, Riku opens a portal and goes to step through it, always uncomfortable when you two are getting flirty. You stop him, saying, "Hey, Ansem, or Xehanort's Heartless, or whatever, I know I'm supposed to hate you, and I don't really understand why you're back from the dead. But Thank you for saving Kairi and keeping her safe.
Oh.
Without a word, Riku continues toward the portal. But Kairi grabs him, saying, Please, Riku, don't go.
Oh.
You, Donald, and Goofy are like, Hold the fuck on, Riku?
And as we know from the ancient texts, when you walk away, you will not hear me say, Please, oh Riku, don't go. And now we're just shitting all over that. I guess this is the game of inverses.
Yep. Kairi brings you over and tells you to take his hand and close your eyes. When you do, you see Riku in his place. You fall to your knees, sobbing, saying you searched a dozen worlds looking for him. Riku's voice now comes from the Xehanort body, saying he was avoiding you, staying just out of reach, not wanting you to see him like this. But it's also how he was able to string you along and get you this far. He says that he still needs the power of darkness for the coming fight, so he'll be remaining in this form for the time being. Possibly forever, we'll see though. While you all catch up and formulate a plan, King Mickey and Ansem the Wise set up the big-ass machine Ansem was carrying around when Mickey found him. He says it'll drain the hearts Sora released out of Kingdom Hearts, preventing the organization from opening it. Ansem says he has no idea what it'll do other than that, but it's worth a shot. It fires up and shoots a laser beam at the moon. You and your friends see the beam, and Riku says it must be Ansem the Wise's machine, telling you to follow him. You have to fight a couple organization members on the way, including Sayx, who calls you Roxas when you approach. You tell him that's really getting old, so you fight Sayx and finish him off once and for all.
Good. Really hand it to him, like, dude.
After the fight, you ask Riku why everyone keeps calling you Roxas. He says it's because Roxas is your nobody. Back when you turned into a Heartless to save Kairi during your first adventure, it created your nobody Roxas. Xemnas found him, gave him his name, and realized he could use a Keyblade since he's your nobody. Riku thought fighting him would help wake you up, but Roxas kicked his ass. So he got stronger and confronted Roxas a second time. This takes us back to the fight between Roxas and original Recipe Riku in the city square. Riku loses his Keyblade, but Roxas still can't land a blow. To which Riku says, Come on, Sora, I thought you were stronger than that. Mirroring what he said to you in the first game that gave you the strength to win in the final battle. Out of Roxas's mouth, Sora's voice says, Look who's winning. Roxas is shook, knowing he didn't say anything, and that wasn't his voice.
Ugh.
Riku is like, Damn, you really are his nobody. Roxas becomes enraged, attacking Riku with everything he has, eventually landing a serious blow. Riku stands, saying he's been left with no choice. He'll need to unleash the darkness within, even if it means it will change him forever. With a voice-cracking scream, Riku transforms into Xehanort in front of Roxas, and manhandles him with ease.
Holy shit.
Finally taking him captive, and turning him over to Ansem the Wise. Back in the castle with current-day Riku, he tells you that in the end, he probably never even had to fight Roxas.
We probably could have just had, like, a conversation, but we went this other route.
He was already quitting the organization when the fight started. Riku says he thinks it's because he found out about you and wanted to meet. You're like, damn, same. I would have wanted to meet him too. Riku points to your chest, indicating that Roxas is right there with you. Back with King Mickey and Ansem the Wise. The machine they're using is beginning to overload. Ansem laughs, saying he was an idiot to think any machine could contain the vast amount of information contained within a heart. He tells Mickey that this thing is going to blow, but he needs to stay and make sure it keeps working up until it can't any longer. You finally arrive, and Ansem says it's up to you now, and that he hopes Roxas can hear him, wishing you all luck. Before you can leave, Xemnas appears, saying, Who the fuck is messing with my Kingdom Hearts? Ansem and Xemnas have a master and apprentice talk. Ansem saying Xemnas was the fool apprentice of a fool master. Xemnas thanking Ansem for his research, saying without it, the Heartless would never have been created, and Kingdom Hearts would never have been discovered. But all of this is just a distraction, as Ansem was just buying time as the machine continues to overload. He tells Riku that he knows what to do, and apologizes to King Mickey. With a final farewell, the machine explodes, evaporating Ansem the Wise with it, and raining hearts back down to the city streets below, where they form into the Heartless they once were.
Magic rain.
Waking up from the blast, you rush over to Riku, who was nearest to it. He stands up in his real body, as Riku with a blindfold.
He's back?
He removes it, and you ask why he was ever wearing it to begin with. He says he couldn't bear to see his own face, ashamed of everything he had to do to save the day, and never wanted to risk seeing it in a reflection. You're like, that's fucking weird and pretty dumb. You had friends that could have helped you. You just chose not to ask.
Hey, dipshit. Fucking text me. We grew up together, my guy. I will listen if you talk to me.
Yeah, there's more strength in asking for help than there is in struggling because you don't know or won't accept your personal limitations.
That's perfect. That applies to so much. Just put that on a fucking cross-stitch pillow. Like, that's our new live, laugh, love.
Just because something isn't easy doesn't mean it has to be hard.
Exactly.
Riku throws off his black cloak, leaving that dark part of his life behind him once and for all.
Yay!
Back in his casuals,
Casuals.
saying the final boss is up ahead. Xemnas is the only Organization XIII member still alive. Let's go end this. Before you do, Kairi points out that the newly reborn Heartless are flooding the castle, pouring in through the windows and climbing towards you.
From the windows to the walls.
Suddenly, Maleficent and Pete appear, saying they'll handle the Heartless, and for you to go stop Xemnas.
I forgot about them, but that is very convenient. So thank you, Maleficent.
Your entire group is like, what the fuck is going on?
They all know she and Pete are obviously up to some other shit, but they're like, we don't have the fucking time to untangle that. Let's take the win.
To which Maleficent says, she gets to keep this castle when it's all over. Now get going.
It's a property move! There it is. See, my girl is about her bag. She said, no, dead ass. I'm going to have to clean this up anyway because this is where I live now.
She was such a villain in the first game, and the second game is her researching real estate and fighting off the people that are there.
She's on House Hunters. I love this for her. And she's just like, and I've got this dumb dipshit over here who's just a brute for the force of like being a brute. I don't know. I told him he could live in the doghouse out back, but honestly, you're in my yard. Get the fuck out. You're fucking up my grass.
Mickey Mouse says that she and Pete are doing what their heart tells them is best.
Which is to get the bag.
Let's not argue and just take the win.
Absolutely.
On the top of the castle, Xemnas is yelling into the void that Kingdom Hearts is ruined, and he has to start all over. He turns as you enter the scene, saying it's time for you to go collect him some more hearts. 3 Keyblade Masters, Mickey, Riku, and yourself, point your Keyblades at him, refusing. He asks why you hate the darkness so much. Mickey says it's not that you hate it, it's just scary. Plus, the world is made of both light and dark, so we need to maintain that balance. Makes you wonder why we're scared of the dark in the first place. Xemnas asks, what's the difference between someone who wants to live in the light and one who wants to live in the dark? If both are required, and you still choose the light, then why shouldn't he be allowed to choose the dark? You say because nobodies aren't even real. They don't have hearts, can't feel anything anyway. He's like, damn, touche. Guess we have to fight then. This kicks off a long string of battles against Xemnas, as this is a Square Enix we're talking about, so we need about 14 to 20 phases for this final boss. I exaggerate, but it is 9.
Jesus.
First, it's 1v1 in the city square, with you and Xemnas fighting up and down the side of a nearby skyscraper. Xemnas using 2 red lightsabers without ever referring to them as such, even in sound effect.
He's just Darth Maul for one phase of the boss battle?
They are fully fucking lightsabers.
Fuck yeah, Darth Maul.
After the first phase, Xemnas manages to open the doorway to Kingdom Hearts by force and hides inside. Being Keyblade Masters, you have your own way of getting in and follow behind. Mickey stays behind, leaving it up to you, Riku, Donald, and Goofy to defeat Xemnas, who starts throwing entire fucking office buildings at you.
Buildings!
There's a ton of QTE moments through this fight, making it gigantic and epic. Honestly, there are very few games that have the same level of satisfying gameplay as a maxed out Sora.
Oh, I love that.
If you are 99th level with all the best weapons and movesets the game has to offer, you are at godlike levels of power, as you literally fly around dodging and destroying everything in your path.
Hmm.
Xemnas even calls on the powers of each organization member you've fought, stealing their attacks to use against you. But like I said, maxed out Sora is a fucking beast, and you eventually overpower Xemnas, making him fade away like all the others. No more special than any other nobody. The castle begins to shake beneath your feet, and Riku goes to open a portal, but can't. Nikki says he no longer belongs to the darkness, so he can't use those portals anymore.
Your access got revoked, my guy.
Suddenly, a portal appears anyway, and an apparition of Naminé appears in front of it.
Oh, shit.
Mickey runs right through her, unable to see her, saying that he has no idea where it came from, but there's no time to question it, beckoning everyone to enter.
Take the win, let's go.
You, Riku, and Kairi stay behind a moment, and Kairi says thank you to the spectral Naminé. Naminé turns to you and says, "See, I told you we'd see each other again."
Oh.
You're like, "I've never seen you before."
Bitch, you are new, but okay.
But then Roxas speaks out of you, saying that he didn't expect to recognize her when he did see her again. A spectral version of Roxas steps out of you, so he can be with Naminé one more time.
This must be fucking horrifying for Sora. Sora's like, I am exhausted. I just fought a bunch of crazy shit. I am so physically tired. And I still have so much to go and run towards. And then a ghost expires out of him and talks to the other ghost. Holy shit.
They talk about how they both thought nobodies were doomed to never be whole again. But these two were lucky and got to meet their original selves, getting to merge with them once again. The two ghostly nobodies turn to you and Kairi, saying that anytime you two are together, they'll be together. Revealing Naminé was Kairi's nobody all along.
Oh, yeah,
The only other girl in the entire story. Kairi says, "Well, Sora and I will be together every day. Right, Sora?" You're like, "Oh, yeah, of course. Every day."
We're gonna split the fucking fruit, okay, guy?
The two of you reabsorb your respective nobody, becoming whole once again. Riku says not to worry. You're still you. You're actually more you than you've been in a while. Kairi steps through the portal, which closes just before you and Riku can enter,
Oh, shit.
leaving you two stranded on the castle's roof. Suddenly, the entire place turns to a bright white, as Xemnas has one more trick up his sleeve.
Motherfucker!
And it gets really weird from here out.
This is where it starts to get weird?
A nobody dragon
I'm out.
comes flying in from nowhere. Hold on, just wait. Riku dives off the side of the castle and lands inside a motorcycle-style spaceship that happens to be nearby.
None of those words are in the Bible.
The spaceship also has a sidecar that you can stand on.
You have to ride bitch in the magical space bike? Are you fucking kidding me? Like you're a whimsical dog on a road trip with goggles on, just sitting in the sidecar of a motorcycle spaceship as you fight the nobody ghost. I'm out.
The logic of this fight just isn't fucking there.
No.
You have to shoot lasers at the dragon.
Obviously, that's the best way to attack dragons is via laser.
And it's not even like a gummy ship battle, which would make sense and would have been in world with the already established rules and commands.
So they've introduced a new kind of ship here. This, in the third act, towards the very back part of the game, is when they're like, you know what we should do? Introduce new kinds of... What the fuck?
They introduce completely different style of aerial combat that you have to learn during the final battle in the heat of the moment.
This is when the original form of Four Loko was still being sold in stores. And it was the caffeine, the guarine or some shit, and the alcohol that was sending people into the hospital and shit. This is the fuel that powers whatever the fuck ship is happening here.
Yeah, Square Enix had a keg of Sparks in the office or something.
Ooh, oh, Tom, as soon as you said that, I could taste it on my tongue. Oh, it tastes like nickels and old Fanta and malt liquor. Oh God, I feel like my tongue is turning orange just because you said Sparks. You're invoking something bad in me. Oh, and that's, yeah, I 100% feel like that was on tap and it's been replaced with like, one of those like black iced coffee kegs now. And they're like, hey man, we had to
Keurig.
Yeah. It's just a Keurig now because they've all aged out of that phase.
From keg to Keurig.
Yeah. That's what growing up is like, you know.
Oh, I love this fucking game, but there is just some shit that I just can't sometimes.
You just can't.
That's all I'll say about it.
And you are a long-term fan. You've played most of the entries just with certain restraints around consoles that you haven't picked up. Like, you truly love these games. And you said this one is the best one in the franchise.
One of the greatest games ever made.
This has your favorite moment in video gaming, period.
And there are some moments where it's just, oh, fuck me.
And now you have to describe to me you riding bitch in a space bike fighting a dragon with the power of friendship and lasers.
Oh, yep. It's almost done. Don't worry.
God damn it.
It turns out Xemnas is piloting the dragon from the head.
Obviously.
So you land there and fight him once again.
Is this a mech or is he just sitting on top of a dragon?
So he's in like a knight uniform.
Oh, what a dork.
Yeah. When you and Riku land, Xemnas transports you to a new realm entirely. A gray and white void. Xemnas is now wearing a new cloak. This one is black and white with ornate designs across it. He says that if light and dark are eternal, then nothingness is as well. Since he doesn't exist, that means he too is eternal.
God damn it.
You're like, no, it doesn't mean that at all. We went over this with your Heartless already.
I like Sora just going, no!
In fact, we're going to kill you like we did him just to prove you're not eternal.
Fuck yeah, get him, Sora.
Finally, the conclusive battle begins, with Riku by your side at long last. Laser beams surround the two of you,
Fucking lasers.
and with lightning speed, you both deflect every single last one of them in display that would make an army of Jedi proud.
Aw.
It's wild. There are a ton of Star Wars references here in this final section, and it was before Disney bought Star Wars.
They were seeding something. You know, those conversations start a long time in advance.
Well, this was all just actual homage, which the Final Fantasy series has done plenty of times over the years, having named many people after Star Wars characters, such as repeated uses of the names Biggs and Wedge, particularly.
And obviously Sephiroth the Hutt.
Right. With the final team up, you and Riku defeat Xemnas for real, and he disintegrates into nothing. Riku is beat from the fight and needs your help getting out. He apologizes while he's slung over your shoulder. He always treated you like he was better than you at, well, everything. You're like, it's cool. I always thought you were better too.
Oh.
You step through a doorway made of light and walk out onto that dark and dreary beach along the lake. Riku collapses, and you drop with him to help him back up. Riku looks around, saying he kind of likes it here. He always felt more at home in the dark anyway. You tell him you'll stay too. If light and dark need to coexist, then maybe the two of you should stay in the realm of darkness, to make sure it doesn't become too dark. Besides, Kairi and the others will keep the realm of light safe. Riku asks for a hand getting down to the water's edge. The water lapping at least sounds like back home on Destiny Island. Riku apologizes again for his superiority complex. Because truthfully, he's always been jealous of you and how you're able to just follow your heart and do whatever you think is right. Him? He's always looking for someone else to guide him and second guesses himself constantly. You're like, damn. And here I was wishing I could be more like you. Silly me. Riku says he's got one thing that you will never have on him, though. Having a friend like you.
Oh.
As you both sit on the silent and still beach, a glass bottle bumps into Riku's leg.
Oh my god, I forgot about this.
He opens it, pulls out a note and hands it to you, saying he thinks it's for you. It's the note Kairi placed in the water, hoping you'd read it someday. You read it out loud saying, thinking of you, wherever you are.
Oh.
You read the note, seeing Kairi in your mind as she talks about setting out on an adventure across worlds to find you once again. When you finish reading the letter, a bright light appears. You say it's a doorway back to the realm of light, and you grab Riku's hand, guiding him through it. Another ocean scene appears. This one, a bright gold and orange sunset with blue waters and perfect weather. The two of you appear as falling stars, crashing into the sea. You both surface, pushing your wet hair out of your eyes. Looking around, you worry that you're far from land. Then you hear Sora, Riku, off to the side. And you turn to see Kairi, a few yards away, waving from the shores of Destiny Island.
Oh.
You swim to her as Hikaru Utada's Sanctuary begins to play. Before you reach her, Donald, Goofy, and Mickey tackle you and Riku, excited to see their friends.
Oh.
Eventually, they realize they're standing in the way of the reunion you want more than anything else. And they step aside for Kairi. From your pocket, you pull out the Paopu fruit keychain you promised you'd return and hold it out. Smiling at her, you become Roxas, finally making it to the beach. Smiling at you, Kairi becomes Namine. As Sora and Kairi once more, you look at her while you fight back tears and say, "We're back."
Oh.
She holds out her hand and says, "You're home."
Fuck me.
You take her hand, the two of you holding the keychain between your palms. The screen cuts to black, and the credits roll.
For real.
For real this time. After the credits, you and Riku sit on Destiny Island, talking about how small it all feels, and how big everything else out there is. No longer wondering like you did as children, now knowing and experienced as slightly older children.
Still a teenager.
Content with the quiet life, having had enough adventure for one lifetime. As if on cue, Kairi comes running up, holding a bottle with a note in it.
Uh-oh.
The note inside has King Mickey's seal on it. The three of you read it together, ready to leave the quiet life behind one more time. Not realizing it will be another 14 fucking years before we would finally get Kingdom Hearts 3.
Their entire lifetime span.
It picks up right here,
Oh, shit.
from this fucking moment.
Okay, so Haley Joel Osment, 14 years older.
A 35-year-old man
Yeah.
comes back to play a 14-year-old.
Hey, Kairi. I want to share that fruit with you.
It sucks too, because apparently Hayden Panettiere did not get a phone call.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
She did get replaced in the third one. There is another secret post credits cutscene, like in the first game, setting up what we thought would be Kingdom Hearts 3.
Mm-hmm.
But this shit went into the like mobile and other handheld exclusive games instead, taking us back in time to the Keyblade Wars from a century prior, which set everything that happened during Kingdom Hearts in motion.
Oh, shit.
Introducing a dozen new characters and abandoning not all, but a vast majority of the Disney elements.
They're like, what if it was mostly Final Fantasy, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
But as if this game wasn't confusing enough, what came next is where things get really complicated, and quite frankly, I don't think a lot of it is worth getting into, as they're all just attempts to back the plot into the story of the first two main series games.
Gotcha.
I will say that Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days for the DS was really fun, telling the full story of Roxas and Axel's friendship, showing just how awesome that pairing can be.
Aw.
If you guys ask really nicely, maybe I'll give you Kingdom Hearts 3.
You have to be very polite. No bullying.
No bullying allowed. For now, Goombas, that was Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yay!
So I want to ask you, Andrea,
Oh.
as someone who has not played either, what was more confusing, this or Death Stranding?
Oh, this. This. And I'm going to tell you exactly why.
Why?
Naming conventions.
Really?
It was so easy to follow in a Hideo Kojima game. Sam Porter Bridges. He moves shit around and he is the bridge to the future and the past. Blah, 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 blah. Roxas is Sora. And that's where it starts.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Xehanort, Xemnas, Ansem.
Gesundheit. Like, that's the naming conventions period is what's fucking me up. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna make a nice drawing and have you grade it based on accuracy. You know, it's difficult. I did cry more during Death Stranding for what it's worth.
That's fair.
But I do really love the themes of friendship in this, and you know, the music slaps so fucking hard.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Goombas, if that was your first time listening to us, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to keep on listening, make sure you like, subscribe, leave comments, all the different things you can do.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Yes, you can go to our website, theothercastlepodcast.com, where you can also sign up for our Discord, our Patreon. For just $2 a month, we have monthly episodes over there as well. Speaking of the Patreon, that keeps us ad-free thanks to patrons like you, so we want to give a shout out to all of you, starting with Lil Brimstone, Landon, Anirban, Matthew,
Zan, Autumn, Alex, Sid, Jutsu,
Mozart, Tamia, Hippity Hoppity Cthulhu on your property, Ian, Danny Boy,
Zaira, Ari, Big Cat PDX, Chase, Alfredo,
Mikolaj, Teramek, Amber, Berserk Panda, QM 1993, Damien,
that Chonky Boy, AJ Porting to the Bridges, I wonder what game you like, Paul, Omar, Aaron,
Cerise, Unuseful, Molly, Krisha, Molly Mock,
Jackie, Jacob, Ellen, and Steamed Hams from Albany.
Thank you all so much. You keep the lights on. You keep this show going in ways that other people aren't.
But we appreciate anyone who's made it this far. Thank you so much. Again, the links to everything are on theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
As well as within the show notes of wherever you're listening to this. And thank you so much. We adore you.
And this is Tom and Andrea reminding you.
Just be friends and fucking talk to each other, man. I don't know.
And don't skip the cutscenes. Bye!
Swing this way, we'll dance and we'll play. It's very easy, come on and just take a chance and shake a feel.
Let the music move you. You can do it.
Don't be shy, let the music inside and dance, dance, dance.
See, you can do it.
Swing this way, we'll dance and we'll play. Now it's very easy, come on and just take a chance and shake a feel.
Watch the stage now. How exciting.